role in the team, being the primary operator as well. But it remains to be seen, though. ENCE definitely are the favorites, though. But I completely understand why Kassad primarily said, you know, they're a team who don't still have that edge when they go up against sort of an underdog team where they can completely dominate them, and they kind of play to the level of their opposition, I guess. But still, ENCE, no more stand-ins. Snacks was an incredible stand-in for them earlier on, but this time they have their the talisman in the form of Spinks back in the server, so that's something I'm looking forward to.
Oh yeah, and he is Mr. Consistent as well as Snacks did play on his endeavors. Let's be honest, Spinks has been a rock solid talisman of this squad, and meanwhile, EF are pushing up on the long side. It's that man Xantares who opens up both his account twice to the P250, and in doing so, A site has fallen for the most part. D has stuck on elevator behind the smokes, but already 3 of his compadres have been put down around him. And realistically, what could he or Spinks possibly achieve from this position? It's gonna have to be kills thick and fast, but instead that smoke will be clearing. Spinks stuck down on the CT side. It's not as if either of them have catwalk control right now. D has surviving for much longer than anticipated, but it's even going to be the clean sweep, Blair. We were just talking about how Eternal Fire have the ability to explode and destroy their opposition, and they've proved just how in that last round.
And it came off the 2 openings from the man in the server for the side of Eternal Fire, Xantares, right? You speak about Turkish Counter-Strike CSGO, you speak about this team, and this is the man you're looking at to deliver. So if the not necessarily the predictions, but if the reservations that Yanko and Kassad had about, you know, Eternal Fire really having a real good day comes to fruition, and ENCE kind of, you know, struggling a little bit here, it is going to come down to Xantares being the one to kind of go toe-to-toe against the side of ENCE. And speaking of going toe-to-toe, Diha with the Deagle is going to strike, finds Emo. Even though the B bomb side is in control with Eternal Fire, they're yet to get the bomb down. The numbers will be punched in, but the CTs are lying in wait outside. Just 2 smokes to work with, though, for this retake, and no kits in place.
Absolutely. I do wonder at what stage, if they do hemorrhage a couple of players, they back off and just rinse and repeat and look for the next round, because B side is so difficult to retake. They may just look to lock in position and let the bomb do most of the work for them on the exchange, on the exit frags. Xantares, in the meanwhile, though, after a cracking pistol round with the AK in his hands, could the odds-on favorite to just break the deadlock and come out swinging, but he's gone down to Spinks. That's an AK that's fallen as well. Spinks looks to rinse to repeat. It's another frag with the Deagle, but eventually he will come to a close. It does afford Hades and Madden the opportunity to save their scouts, but the Turkish team pick up their 2nd in a row.
Making it a little bit expensive there, but yeah, able to extricate themselves out from the bomb site. A lot of Dust 2s being played here early on. It's like both their games yesterday. We had Dust 2s being played as one of the opening or the second maps. And we were actually talking about this before the game went live. We actually saw some very, very close series and affairs as Woxic early on getting the AWP out into play. They've gone for the full rifle buy, despite the fact it is going to be just a light investment from ENCE, looking to work around his 2 scouts and xFloud, waiting patiently. We'll take Diha this time around. No 1 deeks for him.
Yeah, forced back instantly. Meanwhile, Snappy gets caught in an awkward position. 5-7 has now been dropped to the dirt alongside Spinks. Woxic makes short work of him. It is those 2 scouts that survived from the previous round, but a perfectly placed flashbang and the follow-up damage from Emo will have ENCE on the back foot. Obviously, they weren't really expecting to do a great deal in this round. They're going to have a bite into the next one, but it's another clean sweep. At Eternal Fire, well, they've started in 2nd or 3rd gear, it would appear here, Blair. They don't need any time to warm up.
Yeah, they even knew where Madden was the last guy alive with the scout, and instead of just pivoting back towards the B bomb side, they're like, yeah, screw this. We're just going to take the fight to him. 1v5 the scout, have at it. And yeah, a hell of a start here for Eternal Fire. They've only suffered 3 casualties, and that came in round number 2, right? Apart from that, the pistol round and the round number 3 have been flawless. So not only do they have the weaponry, they have a lot of money as well to work with, and what a beautifully timed shot coming out from Hades. The flashbang was good. Emor trying to take advantage of the spawn and take that opening. Duel will fall, but the AWP will be retrieved, and it's going to be handed to Woxic. An early opening duel going the way of ENCE.
So they're hoping for with their money far from ideal. That is the nature of the CT side, going down a fast 0-3. However, Eternal Fire still with 4 players alive and kicking and very much healthy, with a healthy amount of utility on top of it, have taken a little bit of catwalk control in the form of Xantares. Hades peering over with his AWP, and a HE speculatively tossed in does tickle Xantares, but not much else. They have at least kept the Turkish squad on the back foot for the time being, though, ENCE, and eventually that time will start to become a bit of an issue for the T's. Oh, hold on a second. Madden, though. Madden is such an important trade, and he's going to come out second best here. Xantares sprayed up through the double doors.
That was Spinks coming to the rescue, and Spinks finally will fall. That's a B-bomb side defender getting taken down, and Madden being down to 26 HP. Doesn't want to take this duel. A random bullet through the smoke could find him, and is doing trying to put in a few bullets through the smoke, but it's still a 2v4 heavy man advantage here for the side of ENCE.
Shoulder peeking, forces Voxic for the shot. He has to fall back now. Goes back in. The flick is good. Do not peek these 2 players one by one, and you will get punished. Voxic now is all that remains. There's too many angles, too many targets to come up against. But the fact that Eternal Fire were even able to brute force their way onto the site there and get a plant player is pretty surprising and impressive, all things considered.
Yeah, that duel between Madden and Xantares, if Madden gets taken down there, now it's all on Spinks alone, right? So it was very important for him to win that duel, and actually getting helped out by Spinks. And Spinks basically won this round for his team, right? He firstly helps out Madden, ensures he doesn't get taken down, and then immediately pivoting back towards window, gets the opening tee, just the first tee rather, coming inside of the B bomb site. And even though he gets those 2 kills, that was so instrumental in them winning this round. They do suffer a couple of casualties though. That is something which is going to be something that Eternal Fire are going to be aware of. And somehow Xantares, blind as hell, I don't even know where that smoke came from, but he will still find Madden.
Snappy on the off angle, afforded this position because he does have backup with Hades on the AWP, plus Dihao on the site with a secondary AWP in play. So a stacked A side of the map. Eternal Fire, with all of their players on long, maybe walking into this, that Molotov can easily get extinguished. A well-placed counter flash will stop the T's from spilling out, and Snappy's not had to budge an inch. He can hold position. This is looking like a very scary crossfire, but the flash affords them safe passage for 2 entries. Diha's able to muster up the strength for 1 and add a second to the mantle. Very important double frag from the Polish player.
They have the bomb, then they will retrieve it immediately using the smoke picked up from one of their fallen comrades. So utility still with Eternal Fire, a couple of Molotovs, 2 smokes, no flashbangs, however, and they have full reign of mid. You can see Spinks is not feeling super comfortable just pushing in and getting information, and D has just spotted 1 player towards A long, right? So Spinks smartly is going to be rotating back towards the B bomb site, playing on the side with 30 seconds remaining. It is kind of clear that Eternal Fire will be heading towards the B bomb site.
So unlikely to see any flashes come into play here. Spinks with 1. It's a labored spray for the second, but he gets it and nails it down. ENCE with the last 2 rounds on the bounce, and Eternal Fire's money's now been broken back down to size.
Broken, but even for the side of ENCE, it's not that great money-wise, right? Like, they're still in very real danger of getting resets this round right now. I wouldn't be too surprised if Eternal Fire just went for the force buy, but no, it's just going to be the light pistols. Amor with the smoke and Kevlar, then we have a couple of flashes and smoke, and the smoke for Calix being purchased as well, as it is indeed going to be just the pistols here. And for ENCE, it's about staying alive. It's about not losing any weapons to the pistols. And Emor's already found 1. Snappy's in an uncomfortable spot here, but he will somehow manage to hold on. And Voxic trying to just run out from short and maybe try and sow some confusion rather in the side of ENCE, but not much you can do with the Glock. And this should be overall a pretty clean round coming out for the side of ENCE. We can already see the difference being made by the changes to the M4A1 Vince, right? You're not seeing too many players just having to go for these reloads, getting caught off guard. Still kind of like, you know, you've been using the 25 bullets magazine for so very long that your mind hasn't really caught up to the fact it's only 20 bullets right now, and you need to be careful that you just might run out of bullets at the worst time possible.
Oh, absolutely. Like it does take an adjustment period. There's this muscle memory. There's this kind of this natural rhythm that's in your head when you're spraying with the A1S for these players. And I completely agree. I think we have seen a couple of moments where those extra bullets have nearly cost players dearly. We saw it there in Spinks on the double doors. Meanwhile, though, Wuxi missing that shot, and Hades will punish him. Removes the head. Meanwhile, though, Zantares goes in on the B site, and Spinks has been sent packing. So an early 1-for-1. It will afford Snappy the chance to push up on long doors. And they have been proactive on long so far, Blair, but we haven't seen them push into these kind of positions just yet.
Only deals there as Antares is looking to do everything by his lonesome seemingly here, Vince. Really not finding much help from his teammates, or rather he's not asking for anything. He's like, I'm just gonna go in, I'm gonna pop them heads. That's all you need to do. Nice Molotov, gonna flush at Snappy from his position, but Calyx not able to capitalize on that. So we have a bit of a lull in the action. We have a bit of a lurk smoke being thrown in by xCloud towards the entrance of the B bomb site. I do wonder if that's going to draw out any rotation. It looks like it's not. Hades with the op towards B, and he's got Diha towards the mid position, but they are slowly falling back now. They seem to have read that it is going to be play coming in from short. And if the problem here for Eternal Fire, they have no long control here, Vince. So all 4 members are going to be funneled in.
Absolutely. Even if Madden just gets like a 1-for-1 trade, Spinks is still going to be activated, you have to feel here. Or pardon me, not Spinks, Snappy, who was on the long side. Spinks that died earlier in the round, of course. 30 seconds left, and now Molly gets tossed in from Madden. So deny the bomb plant, but Emor removes the head. I say deny the bomb plant. That was on the assumption that Madden can stay alive and put pressure down, and now Emor goes from strength to strength, from frag to frag. Diha keeping the dream alive, keeping this round in the scales, but it's been removed. And the scales tipped heavily in Eternal Fire's favor. Indeed, it is done. Hades is going to back away with that open look to try and save. And so that 3-round streak comes to an abrupt end.
That was such a good round for ENCE. They had all the information they needed there, Vince. Snappy had control towards long. He even walked in through double doors, right? And at that point in time, ENCE knew exactly what the play was going to be. But a couple of little mistakes being made there. I think it was Madden towards who was playing towards ramp at the A bomb side. He didn't quite time his incendiary. He hadn't made an incendiary out, but before he could even lob either of them, you saw the flashbang come out from Eternal Fire. If he had timed the Molotov in towards short just before the smoke dissipated, that could potentially have prevented them from going for that play and allowed more time for his teammate to rotate in from CT spawn, right? Instead, he waited for just a second too late, allowing Eternal Fire to flood on out. And then, yeah, it goes to the repeak. Emor catches him, and it's Snappy in a bit of a panic moment there, making quite a bit of noise, charging on in from short, hoping to catch them with all 4 members with the backs turned. But Emor was very, very well aware. So good work from Eternal Fire to kind of punish the small little mistakes there being made by ENCE.
Some beautiful aim as well from Zantara, as we saw that on the replay. Like, perfect crosshair placement. As Spinks ran in and got diced and sliced up. Eagle, meanwhile, is pushing through. Speaking of Spinks, he's the man to get aggressive. And he's getting quite a lot of intel. Real estate being attained. In his back pocket, he will move in. This affords the luxury of sending over Hades with the AWP, the secondary AWP now on the A site. This is a stacked site, but Eternal Fire already pushing up close. Zantara is getting in the mix as smoke's now beginning to plume for the cross. Diha wants to go in for that peek, shoots out with the AWP. Molotov there to try and stop the push, but it won't be doing too much on that front because Emor has gone in for the first entry, and Zantares is up close, and he's delivering with more frags. Already up to 11 in total as we just move towards the latter stages of round 8. And I say that because ENCE only have 2 remaining, and with an open play, they do not want to throw this one away.
What a play from Emor, just running in through the smoke, catching Snappy, and they might just escape with the AK, and indeed they will. But what a round there from Emor. Sure, he's the one to only find 1 kill, and Zantares opening up that A bomb site, just brilliantly done. And Hades' position, sorry, I do believe it was Dia's position there on the A bomb side was so untenable, right? Like the moment he's going to be swarmed by the AK, his days were numbered. So just brilliant stuff coming out from Eternal Fire. And there was no way Snappy was expecting Emor to just push in and take the fight with him. And Emor, once he takes him down, and even though Hades gets the trade there, at that point in time, Zantares is right in his face. and especially in the form he's looking to be in right now, he was always going to be coming out on top. What a play from Emor. By the way, it's also an assist with the flashbang as well from xCloud. It wasn't just a blind peek coming in from the man. And if Emor is going to be stepping up this way alongside Xantares, we're in for a bit of a game here, Vince.
Oh, absolutely. I think ENCE, if they thought this game was going to be straightforward and fairly comfortable, it's been proven anything but. And we haven't really seen what Woxic has to offer with the AWP either. He's had a fairly slow start, so they always have a couple more aces up the sleeve additionally. And that, for me, is why Eternal Fire are one of those teams that, sure, on paper, maybe they should be getting beat off a team like ENCE, but you can never be 100% sure on this team. They always have that capability, that option to go thermonuclear. In the meanwhile, though, B-site has been pretty comfortably taken as Molly's it down. Emor treads lightly through that Molly, down to 75 HP, but even with losing a bit of hit points here and there, they've got the site, they've got the plant, and ENCE, with 3 players on pistols, they have to save these 2 main weapons again. There's no real way forward for them.
Expensive weapon though in the hands of Hades, right? So even if a save is still very solid here for ENCE, as long as they keep that AK and the AWP in play. Of course, if Madden and Snappy with the Deagle is able to at least find something that'd be big. Speaking of keeping those guns in play, one of the rifles has been taken off, and that is problematic. There's no one nearby to help him out, Vince. There's no one here to help Spinks, and Spinks has to decide whether he sticks around with the AK or the AWP and decides he has to let go of the AK-47. He is still being hunted, but he will survive. Snappy sacrificing himself for his teammates. So the AWP will still remain in play, and sure, they've lost the AK-47, but it's okay. You can purchase the M4A1, although having that AK would have allowed a couple of the players to maybe Diha here could have bought an extra smoke or a flash, or a kit for his side. So it could be felt deeper into this round, but for the time being, it is still a pretty solid buy coming out for ENCE. But Eternal Fire on yet another 3-round streak.
Yeah, on the other side though, Spinks being able to hold onto that AWP was huge because the highest amount of money they had on the team was $4,600. So they would not have been able to squeak out an AWP here. And we'll have to see if Hades can do the most with that, as grenade damage has been felt from Calyx, who is in the long doors. Meanwhile, though, Eternal Fire making moves on Catwalk again. And ENCE just seem to have been out of their comfort zone throughout here. Yes, we've seen some phenomenal entries from the likes of Xantares, and Emor has been playing exceptionally well. But ENCE don't feel like they've quite stabilized just yet. Forced out on the close angle. It's the AWP of Hades, and he has to relocate to the site on A, but he is joined by 2 teammates.
Yeah, Madden not really having a great start to the series right now. But I don't necessarily just blame the individuals here for ENCE. It's just that Eternal Fire have been outplaying them in a few of the rounds we've had. And yeah, like we saw earlier, a couple of uncharacteristic mistakes being made by some of the individuals of ENCE here. It's been punished. Madden once again tucked in close. And once more, he might need help from Spinks. You can see 3 players just waiting behind the double doors here, Vincent. With 35 seconds, they need to make a move.
Oh, pulling a nade out. That's so brutal, but Emor gets both. How? He had no right to get both kills.
Round's done. Or maybe not. Okay, Diha, he finds a kill. That's a bomb drop, and now it's a 3v3.
Kill's huge. It takes a couple more seconds to pick up the bomb and make a run, and now Woxic with the AWP of all weapons up close. Is he going to go for some no-scope shenanigans here? We know he's very capable of doing just that, but he misses the chance, and Snappy punishes him. But in comes Snappy to run into the embracing arms of xFloud in lower tunnels. And now Emor, he's already had so much impact, 34 HP left on his name, but still takes down the head of Hades, who's caught unsuspecting. Diha now desperately needs this clutch, but he comes out second best, and Eternal Fire extend their lead to 7-3.
I feel like the kill from Diha might actually have kind of might have been just the worst thing to happen, right? Because the moment he gets his kill, that's when the remaining members of ENCE are like, you know, we can go for this retake. But the heroics from xFloud, firstly, being so proactive, he knew his teammate Woxic was inside of towards mid doors with the AWP, so his position was very untenable. So he comes out towards lower tunnels, gets the kill onto Snappy, pivots back towards the B bomb side, and in the end clutches out the 1v1. Great stuff coming out from him. But once more, it's Emor who has been just incredible thus far. That instant trade and a follow kill onto Spinks at mid was just just pure filth coming out from him. The only question I have for Emor is why has got a UMP in his hands?
We've been teleported back, time travel back about 3 years, it feels like. Bit of a whiff smoke there as well, but yeah, the UMP is an interesting choice. Normally, of course, see the MP9. I've even seen some players pick up the MP5, the MP7, but it seems like the UMP has really gone out of favor in recent memory.
Gotta remember respect good old Chris Shea with that MP7 he used to wield.
Oh yeah.
A little too expensive though, right? Like, if you look at the bonus money you're gonna get from that, but I think that weapon was a laser beam, and it could even kind of double up as a mid to short range rifle even at times. So kind of sucks to see it not really being used much nowadays, including the UMP. There's a bit of damage being dealt here by the pistols and the AK. They're making this expensive. The round is done. They have no kits to work with, but they're making this very expensive indeed. I'm
surprised they're even getting close to this one. I just assume that because it's max round loss bonus is around the corner, it was a scout and a deagle, but that's the problem. It baited Diha in, and that's an AK-47 they've lost. These are the kind of weapons that make a big difference on the CT side. And it seems like a bit of a flubbed response at the end there, Blair. Like, honestly, you've got your casualties, you've got a bit of success. You can see from Diha's perspective, like, pull back and just hold on to that AK.
Yeah, but still, they have the A1s to work with, though. I guess it was all about trying to keep the money kind of honest on the side of Eternal Fire. And sure, 3 of the players, it's in the $2,000 mark for Xantares, Woxic, and Emor, but Calyx and X-Fire are very, very flush with cash. And more importantly, Vince, 8-3 the score line. They are definitely on fire.
Yeah, in all senses of the words, they have been looking incredibly sharp so far. I was a bit concerned when ENCE stabilized after losing the pistol and picked up 3 in a row that this could get a bit out of control, but it was just Eternal Fire switching up the pace. As you say though, Emor in particular, man, like, yeah, Xantares, he's been sharp. You kind of expect this from the man. He's always there or thereabouts, but some of the frags that Emor got, those 2 kills he got in mid, for example, a couple of rounds ago, were just mind-blowing. Like, they were 2 completely different angles. Speaking of him, he gets the kill on Madden slightly through the wall.
All right, Daenerys, all right, sit down, it's okay. This guy is just doing everything for his team. And it's even a double up on the T side, been something which you don't see quite often, if ever, even on a map like Dust 2.
Man, the terrifying aspect to this, I said it before, but Orc 6, 2, and 7. Like, this is normally a map where he does some pretty big work, and he's just not been required. This is also putting Hades in such an awkward spot. There is no room for error here. Now, he does have a buddy system in place, but a Molotov is pretty much going to finalize this. Smoke goes down, expecting to see some aggression, but a well-placed counter molly as well. A really scrappy and chaotic fight, but it's all utility doing the talking. No bullets required. Smoke down into CT, flash out through, but Hades will get the upper hand onto Xantares. Finally, we're starting to see some of what ENCE have in store, but now Calyx goes in and removes the head of Snappy.
Oh, that's the A-bomb site, completely cracked open. Eternal Fire have so many options available, but time is not necessarily their friend. 35 seconds on the clock, and now Diha, I love this from Calyx, is trying to sell this. He's trying to sell this fake, leaving only Sphinx buys the lonesome, and he has to stand tall on the B-bomb site.
He's also not sure if mid's going to get aggressed on as well. Now he can fully focus on this. He's got a teammate holding the middle angle. Emor on low HP once again comes out swinging and connects square on the jaw of Sphinx. On the cross, Woxic has it locked. And Hades has to go for another save. 6 deaths and 8 rounds for Eternal Fire goes to show the kind of game he's had so far. ENCE are in real trouble. They are getting battered and bruised, and sure, this is Eternal Fire's choice of map. And ENCE, when you look at their statistics on Dust 2, it doesn't look great, but you have to put the caveat in that the losses they've had have been to teams like Na'Vi, for example, who've been playing some of the best teams on the planet and holding their own. They never really get completely blitzed and smashed down like 16-4, 16-5. That's what's a bit concerning to me here, Blay. Like, they are getting straight up manhandled at this point.
Absolutely. Like, this was such a good round from Eternal Fire. The way they were manipulating the rotations as well. You saw Calyx, using the utility towards short, bringing out the rotation from the from the CTs back towards A, and the way, just overall great stuff, right? Like towards short, they knew there were 2 players there, and immediately go for the mid to B, and just like so many quick variations. But firstly, Emor is just playing at a whole different level altogether right now. I mean, he's hopping better than a primary offer in his team, and that is saying something, considering the other guy is Woxic. So ENCE are absolutely getting schooled at the moment by Eternal Fire. And here's the thing, right, Vince? Coming to this tournament, this is ENCE's tournament to lose. The only real challenge, at least on paper, rankings-wise, is FaZe. And they actually have one of the easier groups to ENCE. So for them to kind of, it's still very early, obviously, but for them to kind of be struggling quite a bit over here, it's a bit of a worry, and that shows that they aren't exactly as unbeatable as some people might feel. That being said, though, it's a 2v2 right now as Dia running into the flames, not able to get much done. Eternal Fire, they stave off what was a bit of a half buy there from ENCE, just working around some lighter weaponry. And now we'll have once more the big guns come out for Snappy and his men. The problem is, it's a penultimate round of the first half, and they have only 3. That is not what I expected heading into the series.
No, absolutely not. And some of those big components you expect to be kind of connecting, like Hades, Madden, they've had a very slow game. Like, there's no getting around from it. Maybe Hades going to try and take the initiative here. To be fair, he has been playing saving duties over and over again, as parts of the map have just been cauterized and surgically removed. Madden now, though, will be adding to his kill tally. And there is the 2 players we highlighted, Hades and Madden, both chipping in on middle. Thing is, though, although Madden has backed away, it leaves Hades in an awkward spot. That flash does nothing, baits Hades out, and he will be fragged, but there's the counteractive kill, and D-Hack goes from strength to strength. 2 kills back to back. Eternal Fire only have Woxic remaining in a 1-on-4. He may get the element of surprise with this first pick. He's seen the barrel of the gun, but he misses his shot. Comes back out again, realizing that he's living on borrowed time and they have a ton of money in their back pocket. With 1 round to go, he might as well go for broke. Each of these players, if he can get another couple kills, it could have serious implications for ENCE in that last round, even if they were to come out ahead in this. 45 seconds left, but no control over the bomb. And keep in mind that Snappy has seen that, and he's positioned in the T-spawn. So as far as 1v4s go, Blair, this is looking pretty much as bad as it gets from Woxic's perspective.
This is unlosable for ENCE. I love the way they're stacked up as well. All the timing. Never mind Diha, though. Good enough to get the clean shot in. Secondary AWP there, picked up. Hades won't have to rebuy, and he didn't even actually have any money to rebuy. So very important there for ENCE to keep at least his 4 members alive and even retrieve the AWP. If they can get to 5, it's still make things a bit competitive. This is a much more convincing round coming out here, and this is after a 7-round streak from Eternal Fire, Vince. It has been an incredible showing coming out from the Turkish side. For ENCE, they would really be looking to get that 5th.
Yeah, I'd give them a foundation to play off on that T side. If we can get that second pistol, of course, things get interesting. They're a team as well that have shown a lot of resolve and tenacity. Currently ranked 3rd on HLTV. And we saw them have a great run in the major, often battling back from behind, showing that they were down but never truly out. So I don't want to write them off just yet. It's been more, I would say, the nature of how these rounds have been coming down that's been a bit of a concern. And Emor, he gets 2 kills. We didn't see from his perspective the Snappy one was fairly straightforward. How the hell has he got 2 from there?
I just can't even visualize how he got that. I saw it, I still can visualize it. That is just so unreasonable from Emor. 134 ADR, 19 kills in the first half already. He has been just a sledgehammer for the side of Eternal Fire. As for ENCE and disadvantage, they have to hold on here. You see the CTs now slowly grouping up together. Smoke the pop. No, actually gonna go for the dry swing there. The flash, though, doesn't blind player. D-Hut tucked in. They knows another player nearby. Molotov will flush him out. That's a bomb out in the open. And all the CTs have arrived. Spinks, unfortunate to not get the kill, but now it's a 3v3 as D-Hut's gonna find one alongside Madden, and it's all on Woxic.
Another clutch. This time he's got the AK. This time it's a little bit more doable. But there is Diha on the approach. We were talking about Emor having a hell of a half, but Diha, my God, did he step up in these last 2 or 3 rounds. 17 kills to his name, 11 deaths, and ENCE have a 5th on the board. It may not be enough, Blair, but it does give them a little bit of breathing room if they can get started off in the second half quickly. Oh my God.
What? Yo, that just... It was so quick. It was so quick. He got the kill the very nanosecond he died. But okay, all right. 10-5 the scoreline. As ENCE at least able to save a little bit of face here during the final couple of rounds. As Roxic with his patented P2K not able to get much done. He does spot a couple of players out as he will fall on back to safety. Calyx still looking to challenge, however.
Yeah, he can go for that shoulder peek. He's mainly just looking to spot if any players jump into the ramp side. Now Zantara is going to be picking up the mantle as well. There's still a lot of T's over here, but he removes the head of Hades. And Diha's out in the open, and Zantares will make short work of him. Keep in mind, Zantares had a hell of a pistol round on the first half as well with the P250. I think he got 3 kills in that one. So we know he is an incredibly solid pistol player. Woxic, in the meanwhile, his woes continue. He really hasn't shown up on Dust 2 just yet, and it has given ENCE a chance.
Where did it fall back is the question here, as Snappy making the call for them to pivot back towards long with 50 seconds and no utility. They're just going to have to go for the dry duels here. And there is Calyx lying in wait. Rotation's pretty far away, however. That being said, Zantara slowly sneaking in towards up towards short, and Calyx makes contact. He finds one, and that should be rotation taking place from the CTs.
Oh, beautiful shot. But Madden comes back with 2 of his own. P250 still in play. There's still enough health. He could feasibly pull this one off, but his teammate, his partner in crime, has been bested. Madden still taking shots. Has the bomb, can get in for the plant. He knows both players are in CT. Doesn't have to worry about any catwalk peek. Now the P250, he's got an opportunity as they push towards him. P250 in for one more. Madden has every chance to clutch this one out, but Emo's up against him. He's been a man on a mission so far. And can the Turkish player do it one more time? Yes, he can. What an important kill that may end up being. A nice try from Madden, but it was just a bridge too far. And Eternal Fire will have an 11-5 lead with both pistols.
Madden, we said how he was struggling in the first half, but he almost did it single-handedly there. 4 kills, Vince. He almost had the ace, but in the end, the immortal Emor, he will get the clutch. He will deny the round. They had no utility. They had to go for the dry swing, and Madden still almost made us believe. But Emor crushing the dreams of ENCE. That's a pistol round the ENCE would have really wanted to win just to make life a little bit more comfortable. Eternal Fire denying them as they will stretch a lead to 6 now. This Spinks is run out. I don't think Calyx is expecting this. This could be a free kill for Spinks, but there is Woxic nearby. And Spinks has no idea. Surely he has no idea, but now he's spotted him out. 2 targets to work with. And he's got backups well nearby, but the smoke is keeping Diha at bay. So it's got to be Spinks doing everything by his lonesome as he will find Calyx.
Oh, such scrappy flashes and nades being tossed out from Eternal Fire, doing more harm than good. And ENCE, not only have they cracked open the site, they haven't lost any plays. They can trade up all of these guns now. Eternal Fire are in the bin for this round. They have to go safe. And they're going to be caught at spawn as well. They've got Hades to run into. Scout in hand, but he's missed his chance. And he will be splattered as a result, but there is more where that came from. And now Spinks, as you said, he was completely unknown behind the blue container. I thought for a moment he was going to get CSGO'd with that timing, but he managed to survive with a molly and a flash going either side of him. And the rest just fell into position. And with Madden in lower tunnel and an AK to his name, if xFloud or Emor decide to push down here, it could be to their detriment, keeping in mind that Madden really warmed up in that previous round with the 4 P250 kills. 6-11 will be the score, and it looks like Eternal Fire will be afforded the luxury of these 2 weapons going through into the next round.
Snappy even surviving on 1 HP as well there. That was a bit discombobulated from Eternal Fire, right? We saw 2 players taking the fight towards long. I do believe it was Calyx and Woxic. And it was just the 1 player. This was Spinks right now. And they completely lost control of short. They had no smoke in place there. They had no one holding on that particular position. So even though Woxic had managed to kind of extricate himself in the long position, he was just caught in the crossfire alongside his teammate. And from then point on, the round's done. Sights lost. Clean round for ENCE. Eternal Fire, though. They do have those saved weapons to work with. I say that one of the weapons will be taken care of. And a 5-7 from Xantares and a scout from Woxic to answer back. Woxic would get another kill with the scout. And a third as well. What is going on?
Baden's still alive, still got a chance, but 9 HP to his name, and he gets blown up from Xantares. Eternal Fire, return the favor, and then some. And we said that Woxic had a slow start. Well, he's just exploded around 18 with that scout.
I just cannot believe some of the shots Woxic was hitting here. If the first one, great. Second one, great. Third one is just unreasonable. That was through the smoke. He could not have timed that any better. And it felt like ENCE had done enough, right, Vince? They get the opening pick on the player with the FAMAS, and Woxic getting the kill. Firstly, it diverts ENCE's attention from the possibility of a CT inside a car, which is Xantares, and he finds another kill with the 5-7. Just a massive, massive round from the man.
I suppose if you were nitpicking there, the ENCE didn't really do too much in terms of utility, and they kind of ran out one by one. So some mistakes, but take nothing away from Eternal Fire and Woxic. Xantares, the supporting cast with a 5-7 as well on the card, definitely hurt ENCE and funneled them away, herded them into an awkward position. Smoke's being tossed into the CT. There is another one in the hands of Diha, who can go ahead and connect onto the CT side and stop any shenanigans, and he's about to toss that in right now. Xantares, though, on the other side of that smoke. HE just before it. That's going to do damage. That's going to soften up a few targets. But Snappy goes in for the entry, and Diha will oblige with a second. Suddenly looking better for ENCE here. That smoke's about to clear, and Woxic will get his man. This feels like it's too little too late. And Eternal Fire already pulling the plug and backing out of here.
Crucial entry coming in from Snappy there. Followed up by Diha as well, and they will be punished for the hunt. And if I'm ENCE, you don't really go for more here. I'm saying that, and now it's a 3v2, but no kits in play here for the side of Eternal Fire, and the bomb isn't ticking for quite a while. So ENCE, and what was a 4v3 with the round guaranteed, do lose a few members. They're not going to be super happy with that, but they should still be able to eke out a decent buy. Money still won't be great for Hades and for Snap. You can see there, Hades, he can't even go for the AK and Kevlar. He might be dropped a weapon by Madden, perhaps. Snap, he should also be dropped one by Spinks, and Diha can buy for himself. So, all good in the hood for the time being. Eternal Fire didn't save 3 weapons. The Force Buy Wars events, it will continue. You can see XFUT going for the full investment, and they're looking to break the money for ENCE here.
Yeah, thing is, though, from ENCE, that'll be a little bit concerning is a lot of these force buy wars that we often see have really scrappy buys, and, like, you know, the CTs are limping in with a couple of deagles here or there as Emo's head is removed. I was about to say, this buy for Eternal Fire, though, is really solid, except for XFloud. But just walking through middle, Emo may be a victim of his own success, maybe a bit too confident in how ridiculously well he played that first half. Brought that back to earth with a bang. But ENCE still have a lot of threats ahead of them here. This is by no means a gimme round, but they are looking like they're about to try and turn their attention on this B side. It's XFloud, the 157 they have, the one pistol, the weakest member on the team has been cauterized, and in doing so, B side has fallen again.
12 and 8. Now, there's no way Xantares or Woxic or Calix are going for this. Just 4 rounds separate these two teams. And you got to remember as well, at one point, what was it, Vince? Like 11 to 3 or 10 to 3? Something ludicrous.
10-3, yeah.
Of a score. 10-3, there we go, right? And suddenly now 12 and 8. If you're Eternal Fire, that fire you had inside of you when you were just going on that streak and just feeling nigh unkillable, it's starting to get a bit deflated. A couple of rounds already where they've had to go for the save. And sure, the previous round they were able to punish ENCE for going for the hunt, able to take away a few weapons. This time around, it's a flawless round, and that's exactly what the doctor ordered for the side of Diha and his men. And for those who are just tuning in, you can, of course, just head over to Roobet and use the code TPO7. Claim your free balance. Yeah, indeed you can. There you go.
Get involved in the many Counter-Strike games that we have coming up over the next couple of weeks here. Group stage up until Sunday, and then of course after that is the all-important playoffs, which Eternal Fire will be hoping they can make. I think, as you mentioned before, ENCE, I don't want to say that they were guaranteed a playoff spot, but many people expected them to make it. You said FaZe was definitely one of their biggest threats. I think Cloud9 is in that conversation as well. Although they did have a couple of scrappy moments yesterday against Complexity, which is a whole different kettle of fish.
Yeah, requiring Shiro to drop 40 kills for them to get that win, which is so unreasonable. But yeah, listen, if ENCE don't make it to the playoffs, at the very least top 4, it's a disappointment for them, for me at the very least.
I agree. I think they'll feel the same way as well. Absolutely, especially Spinks is now back and everything, you know, fall into place. They can't take their eyes off this round and off Eternal Fire, who have proven themselves a worthy opponent. Now the nades coming in. Flash is good, forces Antares off the angle, but he's still alive, still a threat with the AK. Not for much longer. Spinks has dealt with him and turns his attention over on the long side and forces away Calyx. They still have Woxic though in play with the Molotovs firing around him. Can't deny the bomb plant. Oh, timing, but D has not been punished. It was a Deagle as opposed to one of these rifles. He may get caught in the back again here, but it's a USP this time. Down to 25 HP, somehow still alive, and somehow surviving to take another life. But Calyx doubles up with his AK, makes this a little bit more costly. If Man was to peek out in this angle, he'd probably be fragged down from his left-hand side, but Woxic's head removed in the process. Whereas Eternal Fire have been very good at holding on to 2 rifles here, 3 rifles there. This time, at best, it's just Calyx surviving with an AK-47.
And that's okay for ENCE. I mean, it's going to be buy coming in anyway for the side of Eternal Fire. Woxic can go for the AWP. He will have enough for a Kevlar as well, so he will be okay. The rest of them, A1 should be coming out. Of course, they have saved the AK-47 in play. A little unfortunate, Woxic got taken down while jumping to clear the short angle. But ENCE, 3 in a row right now, Vince. Showing signs of life, the Finnish org. Weird to say that when they only have the coach who's a Finn now. Shout out to Saw.
That is true. He goes way, way back as well. Obviously, we both know Natu. We saw him at the Major. He's a lovely guy. We do love ourselves, Natu. But it does feel weird. I mean, this ENCE roster's been so sharp and so good, so you don't want to take anything away from him, but it does feel a bit strange.
I was actually having a quick chat with Natu at the Major about making maybe like a documentary show or something where they basically start with the crazy run from that old ENCE lineup with the Finns, and then you just go through 2 years and then comes to this lineup and the run they had at this Major, right? It would have been such a storyline, but we'll get back to it later on. We have a lot more time to talk things through, as Woxic has struggled a little bit going for this these mid duels, especially against Hades, and this time around he will come out worse for wear. A bit of a quiet game. Here's the one I wouldn't say issue, so to speak. The one criticism I might have for the ENCE team would be when you have players like Diha, Madden, and Sphinx, all of them are incredibly gifted, right? And Hades, it just feels like as a primary operator in a team like this, you need to be a little bit more consistent, especially for a primary operator. And sure, he's had games where he's just gone absolutely ham and saved his team, but look at his game. This is Dust 2, usually known as Opus Paradise, and it's 7-14. It's not exactly an ideal scoreline for a player of his caliber. And as I say that, in the meantime, Eternal Fire getting a lot of real estate here, but they're going to get caught off guard. Spinks, the timing was impeccable, and he knows there's someone else nearby.
Bunch of real estate, but it turns out there was rotting floorboards. The foundations were dodgy. Oh, Emor, though, there's nothing wrong with that aim. I was going to say, as much as Hades has struggled, so has Woxic, but Emor's almost proven himself a primary AWPer on this map, the way he's been playing. I know you mentioned in that first half how well he'd fragged and did it with the AK as well. He was doing it with everything, and Antares now needs to go above and beyond. He needs to get some impact, staying alive though and doing damage on his retreat. 45 snap he falls to, but it's unconfirmed damage. In the meanwhile though, Spinks finds himself Calyx in middle. He just wants to stay alive. He can hear the footsteps to his left-hand side though from Emor, and intelligently backs away. As long as he's alive, they have no room, no route up on the catwalk side, and Emor will be nullifying Snappy. and maybe keeping himself and this AWP in play, but it's once again, the best case scenario they can hope for is to save. ENCE have really come alive. You said before it was 10-3 at one point. It ended 10-5 after the first half. Eternal Fire pick up the second pistol. It's 11-5. It's looking grim for ENCE, but since then, they have turned this around heavily.
Oh, absolutely. Double digits now. 2 away from tying things up. And that play there from Spinks is why he's regarded as one of the best in the world right now. He guaranteed the round win by not taking the fight. Even though he is probably the best player in the server right now, he was just like, you know what? I know where Woxic is. I know there's a player going to be hunting me. They're going to probably try and peek me together. I'm just not going to give them the fight. I'm just going to stay alive. And you said it best there, Vince. The fact that he stays alive forces Eternal Fire to reconsider even attempting to go for this particular retake, and to just hold on to their weapons. And now ENCE streak of their own, now 4 in a row together as Calix. So that flash did not blind Hades whatsoever, and that's a free kill for him.
But it did hit Woxic. That's really, really awkward. It was a nice flick as well. That is the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde side of Hades. Emo, though, with his own AWP, is putting it to use one more time. Zintares spotting multiple players tossing through, but he can't escape. I expected him to underarm that Molotov just to stop the push coming in. Good shot from Woxic, though, holds the line. And while Molotovs have been put in position, they've been smoked out. And in doing so, Woxic has to retreat. He has to relocate with this AWP. Peeking back up again, missing his shot. And that will be the bomb now being planted down. Spinks with an important frag, and he will come out ahead. It's only 2 AWPs remaining now on Eternal Fire. Eventually, they're going to have to start going for some of these rounds, considering their economic situation. That's why Emo may be pulling the trigger on this aggression, but it proves to be his downfall. Woxic's still alive with a kit as well. If he can get this next kill quickly, there is a way forward for him, but the flick not on point, and ENCE will punish.
Wox tried everything there, but a double up retake against the 3 AKs was never going to be easy. And ENCE, they are now on fire. 5 in a row for them. And here we go. Take a look at the flash. The flash was up high, but a little too deep. Not able to really get anything done. Emo tried his best, so he got the... Oh, that's so unfortunate for Zintares. Trying his best to go for to escape from a short position. Despite Emo able to get that opening trade, albeit on the other side of the map. Not able to get much done. And ENCE, they are well and truly back, Vince. That 10-3 scoreline we spoke about a while ago, it feels like a lifetime ago now. And now they're 1 away from tying things up. And if you look at the money for Eternal Fire here, we're going to be seeing some light investment coming out, some pistols, but it is not going to be a full buy.
Yeah, this is quickly getting a bit uncomfortable on Eternal Fire. And if you just joined, you should be, what do you mean? They're 12-11 in the lead, but they had such a vast advantage. A real change. And as you can see at the top left, look at that logo on ENCE. They are burning, on fire, but in the good way. Looking to try and twist the knife a little bit deeper, a little bit quicker. As you mentioned, Blair, with a lack of buy here on Eternal Fire, do they try and go for some kind of audacious play? Perhaps. They stack 3 players over on B in the bomb, currently in the tunnels, but it does look with them clearing out lower tunnels for the time being, they may not be pulling the trigger just yet on this aggression.
There's absolutely no need for ENCE to get a little too overeager here. They've been playing this one clinically thus far. But I'm looking at this minimap, Vince, and they are walking into the stack. Now, these are the Deagles. With 3 digs, multiple body tags just getting spammed away. Things could get dicey here for ENCE, because we even have Wox making his way, and here comes the pop.
Bob in. The flashes this time are so good, though, but it's a 1-1 trade. Still alive, and Tares is going to put himself up too, but Spinks will clear his angles. Just too many players, too many bodies running into the site. Molotov now primed up, smoke on the doors. Additionally, Hades trades out to the AK, intelligently so. And just in time to splatter Woxic as he tries to sneakily push his way through the smoke. Calix in the meanwhile, though, has made moves in the tunnels. It definitely looked like there was a way that Eternal Fire pulled that out. But unfortunately, this time ENCE had the right flashes, they had the right protocols, they did their due diligence, and they managed to dodge those banana peels that were stacked against them.
Calyx slowly going to peel away. There's nothing he can do, and I love how ENCE just not allowed him to save any of the weapons as well. You can see Spinks still sticking around. Calyx just might attempt to run on in and grab something. He's going to try to, but look at Spinks already waiting. He's waiting for him. Doesn't get the gun. Doesn't get taken down either, though, so I guess that's a small little silver lining there for the side of Eternal Fire. But Vince, at this point, the momentum has completely shifted away from Woxic and his compadres. It is firmly with Snappy, and they seem to be making no mistake whatsoever. Even the individuals have started to get fired up. We spoke about Hades having a bit of a quiet game, and he's slowly clambering back as well. Oh, that is scary there. Woxic, fortunate to stay alive. Double up setup still in play here for Eternal Fire, and Emor, he's been time and time just getting away with these opening picks towards the B tunnels, and this time around, is he going to find another one? Yes is the answer, as a danger man for the side of ENCE will fall.
And how much more can Emor do here by himself? Like, he's just having so much impact. That's a great grenade. Touchdown, 50 damage done to D-Hat, 39 onto Hades, $300 well spent, and Xantares softening him up through the smoke, but it will not stop D-Hat from connecting the headshot. The flash is good, and Emor's picked up another 2! This guy cannot miss right now.
I have no idea how Emor gets the second one. That's just ridiculous. Hades walking in through the smoke, trying to be cheeky, leaving it all on Snappy. The captain in a 1v4, as Xantares will put him to sleep. Eternal Fire, they finally stop the streak, Vince. But in all honesty, if them winning a round requires Emor being just unreasonable, I don't think it's sustainable.
Yeah, that is the concern, isn't it? What if one of these plays doesn't work out for Emor? I mean, he gets 2 kills here. That is absolutely outrageous with a flashbang on top of it. But these are not the plays that you can bank on time after time. However, it does put Eternal Fire in the advantage one more time, and the spray from Calyx can only muster up the strength for 1. Does significant damage to Madden, though, and also got eyes on 2 players pushing through on long. So that allows Woxic to hold in position with smokes down. On the car, he can still have impact, but he misses his chance. I think he did catch a glimpse of Hades leaping into the ramp, however, just beforehand.
Hades tucked on in. Oh, Woxic's in a rough spot here. He's got his teammate nearby, though. Smoke is going to be lobbed in by Xantares, but Spinks in the meantime. The look catches X-Floud. Now he knows where Emor plays. They know exactly where Emor is with an AWP as well. So what did he do? They have so many options available to them. Do ENCE and Spinks. He's doing so much. He's getting so much done by just moving around right now. He's going to be heading towards T-spawn, coming up towards mid, looking to cut off rotation, looking to gather information. As Woxic, what was that?
Holy! That's probably the best AWP shot we've seen all day. That was unbelievable. He just insta shot him through the ramp straight to the head.
It went through the earth.
He's curving bullets now, apparently. He can do it all, can Woxic. And he may be called upon to pull another rabbit out of the hat. A bit more magic left perhaps in his wand yet, but it could be Xantares that makes the entirety of ENCE disappear with this AK. In the meanwhile, 12 seconds to play with the Molotov now is just coming to a conclusion. Not sure how that didn't land. Look dead on. Sent the mass, but Spinks is going to get traded out. Bomb plant just in the nick of time. And with 10 HP, D-Hat has the chance to be a hero, but Woxic removes his head. Another wallbang frag, and Eternal Fire finding their second wind just when it counts.
Woxic might have only 12 kills right now, but the shots he's hitting is just... It's literally... You can make a mini frag highlight clip from only his kills he's got, even on the CD side. You go back to the scout round in round number 17, for example, gets 3 kills there, and that first opening, that kill inside a pit towards Hades was just... That's just insane. Actual insanity. 14 and 12 now. Eternal Fire, just 2 away from taking their map pick. It looked like ENCE had done enough. It's not quite over yet.
Flashes out, but Calyx has already played this hand one too many times. And Madden, spraying through the smoke, will get his man. Instantly puts Eternal Fire on the back foot. But they managed to come out and break through the shackles last round, but Centaurez goes walkies, and Hades will leash him again. Emor, once more, though, is proving his worth his weight in gold with this off, with these kills, and now Woxic has really woken up. You can see the change, the confidence building up as he gets boosted back onto the site. ENCE run a 5v3 as Woxic gets caught with an incendiary out his pants down. Slight gap in the smoke, but that will do more harm to Emor than good. Leaving xFloud, the known B player, stuck on CT spawn. It's looking like we're going to have a couple more twists and turns yet, Blair, before this game comes to its conclusion on Dust 2.
The one fortunate thing here for Eternal Fire is they have the money, right? They have the money to eke out yet another buy. But the saved rifle is going to be very, very crucial. And as you said it as well, Vince, they know where he likes to play. They know where he is. And if his rifle gets taken away, they might opt to even go for just a light investment, some pistols and armor, perhaps, Madden. Oh, the timing, but his position known now. Am I going to be expecting the second player here? He's not. Sphinx will find him. And you look at the money, Vince. If he'd saved that rifle, he could have dropped it to either Xantares or Calyx. They could have still eked out a buy. But with him getting taken down, we will be seeing a light investment. Expect some maybe a couple of SMGs, a couple of pistols, perhaps. That's about it. And for ENCE, a great opportunity to tie things up. This game's not done yet. It's so back and forth. You'd love to see it.
Yeah, both teams have shown a lot of grit here, because you couldn't have even blamed Eternal Fire if they capitulated after this comeback from ENCE and, you know, their heads had just gone and they assumed, right, this is over. But they fought back, and ENCE have then matched them, and they're going to be picking up the pace here. Molotov in, xFloud has no real chance, but now Woxic is going to join the fray. Remember, from this position with the scout, he went ridiculously huge for his team. He's picking up more kills. Emor elsewhere with the MP9 makes short work of one, but gets traded back again before Snappy activates with the AK. D-Hat down to 28 though. They do go in for the plant. And now with smokes dwindling, a bit of damage is done. I say a bit, he's been dropped down to 21 HP here, Snappy, but D-Hat holds his position. Molotov thrown out onto the doors, and Xantares just with a deagle and an AWP on top of it, maybe looking to save. ENCE will tie us up again. We are going the full 30 rounds, whatever happens here.
You need to save that AWP. That was a hero all by coming up from Woxic. And you said it as well earlier, Vince. Woxic is playing like a man possessed right now. He's feeling that confidence. He's like, I can hit anything at the moment. And despite his heroics, he gets 2 kills. As long as the AWP is saved, it's okay, because no one else really invested into that round. You can take a look at the money right now. Woxic can buy Kevlar, utility, whatever he wants. AWP's going to be dropped towards him by Xantares. Emor can even go for the double AWP setup if he really wants to at this point in time. Speaking of Emor, he's on 30 kills already in 28 rounds. What a hero performance coming out from the man. And it's brought to the secondary AWP as well. Money allowing him to go for that buy. There is just a singular kit, though, in the hands of xFloud. That is a bit worrying. I would have liked Woxic to buy the second kit as well. But here we go. Round number 29 in play. D-Hat taking the first shot, not quite able to find it. And this time, actually, it's going to be Emor playing the long spawn and going to be present there at long as Woxic spots a multiple number of members of ENCE, but not quite able to land a shot.
I seemed like he overthought that. Like, there was too many targets. He kind of shot between the middle of them. Meanwhile, though, a bit of tentative play comes out with mollies and flashes, allowing a little bit of safe passage through on the middle side. But Snappy is all alone. He needs a little bit of backup here. If that AWP gets up close, though, Snappy may very well get the opening pick. Now his smoke's coming down. It's back and forth. It's chaos. You can see desperately trying to get into the action here. Oh, ENCE, they are going to get their men. Snappy gets 2 as they push through the CT spawn smoke. They get punished, and now D-Hat drills into the head of Calyx. And all Emor can do is try to hold on to this AWP. And considering their economic situation here, that may not be good enough. And I say hold on to the AWP, he may not be afforded that. Incendiary down will force him away, and the bomb still has plenty of time left on the fuse. Tons of cash for one more round on ENCE. You better believe they're going to hunt down this man. They know that he has the AWP. They want to deal with this. The flashbang lands in his eyes, and he is a goner as Snappy goes in for his 3rd kill of the round, and ENCE have him at point.
Final round of regulation, Vince, and they have no sniper in play. That has been the one weapon which has saved them time and time again in the hands of Woxic or Emor on the CT side. for them to have come so far and to fall at the very end, oh my word. And those 3 opening kills, initially, it happened in the span of 1 second. You said it as well. Snappy finding both the players, pushing him through the smoke. That was so important. But even if he found just 1 kill and got traded right there, Vince, the B bomb site was in control with ENCE. They'd gotten that opening pick there in Eternal Fire. They are calling for their 3rd tactical time on this, talk things through. Look at the buy coming in. It is grim indeed for the Turkish side. Scout for Woxic. We have a couple of A1s in play. FAMAS for Calix. But heading into round number 30, looking to take us to OT. That is not the buy. That is not the buy you'd be looking forward to.
Oh no, this is... Oh, how the fortunes have changed around now in Eternal Fire. Look, could do no wrong in that first half. Started with a second pistol. And then ENCE really started to step up. Those shots not connecting. Looked on, but Hades is going to get punished from Woxic, the leading tower of Turks. Takes his head, removes it, and gives Eternal Fire a real hope to take us to OT.
If there was ever a time to come out to bring out that play, that was it, Vince. There was no way Hades was expecting that boost. Brilliantly done by Woxic, and I do believe that was Antares as well. So they've taken out 1 danger man. Still 4 more to find, and Emor, the demon, is going to be haunting the nightmares of ENCE. He's still alive here towards LT.
He's going to get 1, sprays in for a second and spills the bomb down. As has so often been the case, Emor comes out clutch when it's required. And man is going to get pincered and overwhelmed. Spinks in a 1-on-5. Molly tossed in, bomb spilled out, and there's Woxic. We head to OT.
What a round. What a round from Woxic and Emor. Firstly, Woxic with that boost, able to decapitate Hades, and Emor in what should have been just one and done spot. Catches 2 players. Oh, that is so huge. They didn't have anything to work with. They had nothing really much to work with apart from this A1. And Emor with a bit of a labored spray, but he gets the job done, Vince. And such an important round to win. They had virtually nothing to work with, and yet they will take us to overtime. Can they close it out, though? That's the question. The first OT, I believe, for us here on the A string.
Yes, so we had a couple of very close games yesterday, but none that went the distance to OT. And ENCE will be feeling like this should not have been the case. What an important moment as well, though, Blair, considering that Nuke is up next, and that feels like a hotbed for ENCE. Like, one day simply are going to be so difficult to beat. X-Flower, the meanwhile, though, gets obliterated on a cross, down to 23 HP, lucky to survive. And so, although they've managed to bring us to OT, the job is certainly far from done on both of these teams. Some aggression may be forthcoming out on the catwalk. Woxic in hot pursuit of a player, but I think Diha may have just beat him on the timing. Up close on his right-hand side. He's now been spotted, but he misses his shot. Could get charged down. Diha, who had the bomb, drops it behind him. They've done a good job, though, of taking a little bit of control. Flash is good, forces Woxic away.
Great sequence of splashes there. Oh, that is so important. Emor falls. Remember, X-Flat is very, very low indeed. Hades, he needs backup immediately. Smoke's going to be lobbed in. It's got 2 players nearby as well. X-Flat, for how long can he stand?
Oh, he's got 1. Why is the op going out first? Surely would have traded one of those assault rifles. And X-Flat on 23 HP was only 1 bullet away from death. And they have distributed that accordingly. Site has now fallen, has been pillaged and plundered as Spinks removes the head of yet another Eternal Fire player in the form of Zentares. And Woxic and Calix, they're going to be pulling the plug and backing away. It was 16k starting money, of course, so it does mean that Eternal Fire will have enough regardless, but this is more for the bigger picture. You don't want to be throwing these AWPs away, because come that last round, things could get very sketchy if you're a CT.
The one fortunate thing they have going for them is the buy money 16k, right? So even if they lose all the weapons, the buy will still not be too shabby come the 3rd round in OT, assuming they lose the first 2, of course. But still, you do want to keep things healthy. You want not just a weaponry, but also all the utility to work with. But ENCE, despite not being able to close out in OT, sorry, in regulation, able to get the first one. I'm not too sure about that peek from Emor, honestly. There was no flashbang. I mean, he could have peeked with a flash from xCloud, perhaps. But just a dry peek with the op is something... considering the way Emor's been playing thus far in this game, you'd expect better off. But they get punished for it, because that ENCE will now take the lead as we enter the second round here of OT.
Yeah, I guess when it comes to how well he's played so far, you let him have a pass on that one. Hades was hoping for a pixel peek, losing 72 health for the luxury, but nothing will be forthcoming. Woxic in the meanwhile, though, eagle-eyed, trained up on mid, but he's not sure about tunnels. And that's always an issue here from his perspective. That's why he's changed off the angle. No second player up, no one's on catwalk that can hold these angles for him. And with a smoke and a flashbang tossed in, he will be pulling the plug and backing out of middle. So ENCE are doing a good job of keeping Eternal Fire on their tiptoes.
No presence towards mid, right? Eternal Fire opting to go for this 3-2 defense. No eyes, no control towards mid. Of course, ENCE don't know this as well, so they have to do due diligence, use up their utility to try and wrest that control. But if they head towards A, this is a solid hold indeed. Calyx towards long. With Woxic as well, alongside Xantares, the two players there. Xantares will just nade Hades straight into oblivion. That's a great opening. And with 40 seconds on the clock, ENCE need to make a decision.
100-0, Blair, purely off utility. Molotov, and then the shrapnel of the HE. Emor will not miss these chances. Gobbles up the kill onto Mad, and Molly down to stop any re-engage. 20 seconds to play with. They know B site is very likely going to be the target. Another Molotov down, just stagnating and stalling this push for so long. And suddenly Spinks is all that remains with 10 seconds left on the clock. And Emor will pivot in for another one. An excellent hold, and not a single player lost in the process.
Brilliant stuff coming out from Eternal Fire there, and all predicated off the fact that Xantares gets the first kill, and the smoke towards short. ENCE, they were running out of time. And Emor, not just the kills he gets, Spence, but the spacing, his utility, he knew the exact time and went to lob in the incendiary and the smoke as well, just keeping Spinks at bay. That kill from Xantares, a little unreasonable, straight through the smoke, of course, no vision whatsoever. I do wonder how many smoke kills we've seen thus far in this game. I feel like it's over a dozen at this point, but a good rebuttal coming out from Eternal Fire here, as we will be entering the final round of OT, and once more, it's going to be the hole from... This time it's actually going to be Woxic alongside xCloud, and a hit comes in. The flashes are good. Woxic needs to find one.
He gets one, but will that be good enough? Because now xCloud is called upon. Flash is good. Spray's not quite on point, though. But now in comes Emor, missing the shot. So much health has been lost, though, from ENCE on the approach. 37 less for Diha, 9 for Spinks. Emor has to dance past the flames, past the fire, to a bit of reprieve. But in that reprieve, ENCE have managed to force the bomb down, still have mollies. Now being tossed out, smoke onto the doors. Another molly tossed in. Really important timing for that smoke to connect. Otherwise, Spinks would have almost guaranteed been dead. But he's dropped down to 6. Somehow still survives. Another molly tossed in. But Eternal Fire going to have to start to pull the trigger and get in here. Hades all that remains now with the AK-47. Has already sprayed in for one and misses out on the second. Is there going to be enough time, though? They do have a kit. It's down to the last few milliseconds, but they will successfully retake the B site. 17-16 in the lead come the second half.
That is such an incredible retake, considering Spinks just did an incredible job staying alive for as long as he did. But great entries there in Hades in a very uncomfortable spot. He needed to get at least either Emor coming in from window or Calyx, but in the 1v2, we're just getting pincered. It looked like in the 3v3 situation, oh, what a shot from Emor, by the way. What a shot from him. He has just been incredible for Eternal Fire, as they will now take the lead heading into the second half of OT. Can they close it out, Vince? Now they're going to be on the more favorable side, T side, where they had an incredible, such a fun time just dissecting that ENCE defense in the first half of regulation.
That's a really good point. Yeah, it seems like the CT sides have been worth a lot more in this game. That being said, though, with 16k starting money. It does at least afford ENCE the luxury of not having to worry about economy as much, but Emo with another flick. And it's Snappy that sent reeling this time. This guy is in some crazy form right now.
How much more does he have to do? Like, he's 4 away from 40 kills. The second highest in his team is Antares on 27, and the third is Woxic on 18. It's been the Emo show through and through.
Can't take anything away from how he's played here, even if they were to be unsuccessful. ENCE in the meanwhile, though, Spinks missing the shot, but Molly down, flashes in there. Spinks goes back in, and D-Hat through the smoke, perforates onto xFloud. A good hold from ENCE after losing the first player. Eternal Fire have to push through the smoke now if they want to get onto the site anytime soon. And D-Harris continuing to turn in for kills. Gets burnt to a crisp, but Woxic in a 1-on-3. Close combat AWPing, missing his chance. 24 HP remains now as he's being gradually whittled down. It's Spink's sidearm that seals the deal. And although ENCE may have lost from that crazy flick courtesy of Emo, everything after that was one-way traffic in their favor.
That was so well done, but at the same time, I do have a couple of questions there for Eternal Fire. They didn't have to go for the commit, Vince. They did not have to go for the B commit. Once the Molotov came in, Xantares had at least a second to make his decision, which is a lifetime in CS. They could have just opted to fall back. It's okay. There's no need to go for the full commit. Instead, just come charging out 1 by 1. And even in 5 versus 3, they still try and kind of hurl themselves into that wall of smokes and bullets. They just got massacred there. So Eternal Fire, nice flashes though. Spinks up close. He's taking matters into his own hands. The second AWP. And he's putting in all the work now. Opening pick, and he's managed to somehow pull off the Great Escape.
With that Eternal Fire in a bit of trouble now. Smokes and Molotovs tossed into long doors, blocks away the T's. Will take some mid control, but not for the first time. Middle under hot contestation. Emo, he will not relent. He will not go down. Flashbang is good. The spray's on point as well, and Emo has given them a fast track towards the B site. They still have Spinks to contend with, and he will hold the line for dear life. Leaving Calyx in a 1-on-3, and Snappy shuts him down from the back rotation. ENCE have another map point.
I'm going to be heartbroken for Emo if Eternal Fire lose this map in OT. Like, it's just, like, how much more can one man do? How much more can this one man do? With seemingly everything, Vince. With the AWP, with the AK, with the M4. ENCE though, second. Oh, what a shot from Spinks. The guy can do virtually anything, seemingly. 18 and 17. Map point for ENCE once more, Vince. Can they close it out is the question. Hades, oh, he's being very brave. And he's going to somehow just peek on in the right eye peek. Woxic not expecting it. And now only 4 nails remain to be nailed into the coffin of Eternal Fire here on their map pick.
One of them is Emo though, and he's worth multiple players at this point. Keep in mind, he's their IGL as well. Like, he's carrying so much on his shoulders. Calling, fragging, entering, everything you need. And he may be called upon one more time, but Spinks will put an end to that. The rallying cry comes out from ENCE. And now Eternal Fire stuck behind smokes, are losing players at an alarmingly fast rate. xFloud and Calyx remain, but xFloud has found the head of D-Hat at least, and they know a second contingent player was up on Goose. However, that is Spinks, and Spinks has really come alive with the AWP in this OT. Flashbang is good, and the follow-up damage is there as well. ENCE have got it. It was a marathon. It was a slog, but they take the choice.
You and I casted, and it feels like I really want to see that Woxic again in the silver, Vince, but it feels like it's been a long time since that's ever happened.
Yeah, it feels like his confidence has gone a little bit, and maybe it'll take a while before he just gets back into primary AWPing and kind of adjusting back to that mentality. But what we can tell you is that we are live into the second map with ENCE on the T side of course, their choice of Nuke. We do have ourselves some Julies in play, though. Some delicious Julies, potentially to dismantle ENCE on the approach. Here comes the grenades, and Emo gets one, but does get traded out. Calyx and Xantares, though, both come in as well, and Spinks, it's labored. He does get the kill, but it's at the cost of his life before Hades comes back in with one of his own. He's been tanked down to 72, but still has a chance here. Knows where one of these 2 players are. It's about the second player there could be a bit of a problem. And Woxic's about to show his hand, and he's about to close the eyes of Hades in the pistol. Keep in mind, though, Eternal Fire won both the pistols on Dust 2 and still did concede. So we'll see if they can maybe make the most of this opportunity now.
Good start there for them. That's pistol round win for them to get a little bit of that confidence going. Good hold overall there, right? Didn't really require any particular heroics from only one individual. We saw Amor with the dualies able to very easily dodge the pop flash coming out from Hut and able to find one with the dualies before getting taken down, but then instant trades taking place from Calyx and Xantares to walk to finish things off with a double kill. This is the force fight coming in here from ENCE though, and they have managed to send a couple of players down below, and a bomb should be planted very quickly. Forget the bomb, Spinks will find Woxic, and now it is a 4v3. xCloud will get the trade, but the bomb will be planted, and the planter is in a rough spot. Never mind, he's got a smoke, and that's going to keep him alive for at least the next few seconds. That is Hades, who's going to reply back with a shot of his own.
Oh, that's so massive. They still have Dihar as well in the vents, and two players stuck down on Secret. It's the two SMGs, though, that can rip and tear Hades. And Dihar's the first to fall. Hades still stuck on the site, but now he has been finalized. And Madden making moves in the meanwhile. Bomb is planted behind the site. That information will be relayed to him, but they have no kit. He's taking his time. Tech 9 spray, but won't be connecting the dots. And so Eternal Fire will be successful on the defuse at the cost of 2 lives. But because they did force, as you mentioned, Blair, it's not as if they can just dip into AKs and Galils here and be really comfortable. They may go for them, which they're going for right now, but it is going to be at the lack of a couple of smokes here, a couple of flashes there.
Yeah, just going to keep pressuring the economy here for the side of Eternal Fire, losing a couple of members there, but still in a 3v3, great stuff from Xantares as well with the A1 playing bodyguard for his teammate. They didn't have a kit as well as you pointed out, so if the diffuser gets taken down, even if they get the kill, round would have gone the way of ENCE, but the buy is in indeed. For the side of CTs as well, 4 A1s in play, the MP9 for Emor, just a couple of kits as well. As for ENCE, because they've opted to go for all these rifles being purchased, the utility will be a bit sparse, but the fact that 4 of them have gone for the Galils allows them a few smokes to be purchased and used. But that being said, minute and 24 seconds on the clock here, Vince, and they have only 1 flash and a smoke left to work with for the side of ENCE.
Yeah, and I feel like on the T side, Molotovs are so important as well for executes, especially on the A side for this reason. Emor now is not going to be affected, stuck on top of the hut. This feels like a foregone conclusion now. You have no flashes, no smokes, no mollies to push out on the site with. It is dry, and Spinks on 8 HP will be the final player left. And I don't think he's got too much left in the tank. Down he goes. It just felt like a bit of a sloppy buy to me there. But all things considered, especially they didn't explode out onto the site. It never really felt like they were in a chance in that round.
Clean stuff coming out there from Eternal Fire. Again, they had a similar start on Dust 2. Hopefully, they can replicate it because ENCE are going to keep chipping away at you. But in the meantime, you can use the code HELLOROO to claim your bonus in Roobet. Meantime, right now, this is going to be a bonus for Eternal Fire. It's just going to be the pistols, light pistols coming out for the side of ENCE. But Deagles, though, so need to be a little wary. Xantares not taking too much damage. He's going to be okay with that. A1's all around. But so far, it's been a very solid start indeed for Eternal Fire, right? Apart from round number 2, where they allowed ENCE to get the bomb down. Okay, just a wide swing. Hello, 80s. And good night.
The Xantares special! 3 kills, all headshots. Yes, it might be a half buy, but you can't argue with that aim. That is pixel perfect. Pristine play from Xantares. He won't be cleaning it up. He won't be living to tell the tale, but it's fine. He's done more than enough.
Sure, they didn't have any head armor, but those were so clean. Oh, Xantares. I did kind of envision for a second Xantares buy. He had $6,000, so he could have gone for the AWP buy for Woxic, or Woxic could have dropped him the A1 rather, and he could have gone for the AWP buy himself. But it looks like Eternal Fire are comfortable just wielding the automatic rifles for the time being. Now, buy is going to be coming in for ENCE, just able to get the 1 kill that round just with the Deagle, so not really getting much done. Quite start indeed for the individuals on the side of ENCE, but it can never count them out, Vince. The thing is, the T side's really, really strong, but it's the CD side's even more dominant. So whatever rounds they get on his T side is always going to be a bonus as Antares once again continuing his reign of terror, but Madden will take him down, able to find him as the smoke fades away. So equal trades thus far, as ENCE have managed to send 2 players, that's a C4 as well, down towards lower.
Emo dipping down to the decon stairs, 2 players up against him, looking to try and jump peek in. I'm not sure if he spotted them though. And Spinks in the meanwhile, from above, will have them dead to rights if they push into the lobby. I feel like Emo may have missed his chance, his window of opportunity, but speaking of which, the windows have yet to be broken. So that is a sound cue that will give away this play, and now he knows. But is it too little too late as they get caught in the open D-Had, down to 25 HP? Emo now will be punishing Hades, and even though they got that trade outside, everything else has just come apart at the seams. Eternal Fire just in such fine form. The first 5 rounds go their way on Nuke.
This is so clean as well. That looked like ENCE, they had a little bomb site, but they didn't really, right? It looked so discombobulated as well. No trades taking place. And Eternal Fire, they're not okay just sitting back, allowing ENCE to get the bomb down and then going for the retake. They're just poking and prodding, making things very uncomfortable indeed. And they're all started off once again with Antares being such a nuisance towards the outside position. Sure, he gets traded, but the rest of his teammates just easily mopping up the members of ENCE. And here's what's really damning for the side of ENCE. Eternal Fire, sure, they're on fire as well. 5 rounds in a row. Look at the money, Vince. That's how convincing these rounds have been. xCloud on 10K. Walks on $7,000 alongside Calix. Emo on 55. And Xantares the only player with lower funds on 2,000 on 2K, which is totally fine because this is after the buy as well. So we have a bit of a timeout getting call as ENCE talk things through. This could easily spiral out of control. But for Eternal Fire, it looks like they've been able to kind of just delete the memory of the previous map, because there are many teams, Vince, after such a losing like that in such a close fashion, there are many teams who could just kind of mentally capitulate and just kind of mentally check out. But looks like Eternal Fire are not going to have any of it. They are still looking to take us to map number 3. Still a long way to go though. Right now for ENCE, it's going to be just the pistols, but quite a bit of utility as well to back things up. They're not going to be going for the outside play, however. A couple of smokes being deployed outside, but looking at the utility they have, it does look like it's going to be the upper pop, and that means Calix has to go big.
It's joined by Emor as well, who has the AK. Yeah, one of these two, though, is going to have to pull their weight, and the mollies are on point. Calix with 2. You called upon him to deliver, and deliver he has done. Bomb dropped down. ENCE, hot off the back of a tactical timeout, have been thwarted again. And although Emo may be walking on eggshells here, it doesn't really matter because ENCE have been dismantled. They've been completely destroyed. 6-0. They're going to have another rifle round. But Eternal Fire, if there were any doubts about these guys and their capabilities on the Nuke CT side, well, I think you can pretty much lay those doubts down for the time being. I don't think ENCE have necessarily had their A game here by any stretch, Blair. We've definitely seen them have better T starts in the past. But you can't take anything away from how EF have played this game so far.
Oh, indeed. Like Calix, right? The Molotov, the incendiary timing was perfection. And for ENCE, they didn't even use any smoke. I don't think they even had a smoke to extinguish the flames. And not even able to do a combined damage of 100 on towards the Eternal Fire members. This is much faster from ENCE on the buy round as well. Quickly pivoting towards lower bomb site. xCloud, though, instantly decapitates Spinks.
That's a good sign as well for Eternal Fire because he had a very lackluster game on Dust 2. He was often on the B side all alone, to be fair, but he didn't have the kind of impact you liked from him. In the meanwhile, though, they've managed to brute force their way into a post plant. And with smokes down, even though the deck may be stacked in favor of Eternal Fire, this is still going to be a rough retake to look in for because they could be tripping over one another. HG out with a flash as well. But this SG could go above and beyond. Hades finally gets a kill alongside Madden, and there's another one. Everyone falling down on the approach now from Eternal Fire, but Xantares tries his best to keep it alive. Snappy clutches in the 1v1, but because they lost 4 players, and because of the stats that they're currently in play, it's not as if they have a ton of money to play with still, ENCE.
But they finally break the streak, and I think that is something which they can kind of be happy about. The timing on this flank by Madden was impeccable, and it was so chaotic as well because they were getting shot at by Hades and from Snappy from the decon position. So after Madden gets the first kill, there was so confused as to where the shots were coming in from. They couldn't spin around. They didn't spin around. And Madden was able to get a second kill as well. But still, as you pointed out, coming down to the 1v1. And Money, we touched upon earlier, Eternal Fire have so much cash to work with. Even after this buy, we have xCloud at 8,300. Calyx on almost 7k as well. So money's not going to be a problem. The buy is going to be coming in. And the opt out as well from Mr. Woxic, as Xantares once again continuing to be a problem here for ENCE on the outside position. But he will be traded by Diha.
He's often being just kind of dangled on the end of the fishing rod here. He used his bait, but he's always getting at least one kill. 13 frags. And we're in round 8. Goes to show the impact he's had. Hades, in the meanwhile, though, puts an end to Emor. That will allow Madden to quietly drop down the vents. They may have no idea this is a possibility. Yes, it was smoked, but Calyx was stood right there. And although Woxic may have got the first, he would have been swept anyway, and Madden just puts the bullet in his head with a Galil. Hades turns the knife, and it looks as though ENCE will be doubling up their round tally and 2 rounds on the bounce. xCloud maybe do a bit of damage on his way out, but man, some of those entries, Blair, were lightning fast.
A belabored battle there, but a Galil actually coming out of top, and as well as the upgrade for Sphinx onto the A1. That entry by Madden was pure filth. Woxic didn't even have a chance to react there, Vince. I felt like there was also 2 shots as well, even though it was AK-47. I feel like the first one hit one of the vents on the ground, so it kind of like aim punched him perhaps. I want to see that again from POV of... Oh, never mind. I thought it was Madden coming in from Secret. Actually, it was from the vent. So yeah, the Galil getting the job done, but everyone getting picked apart there.
Oh man, I was right there alongside you, Blair. I thought it was the player from Secret as well.
But even if it was Madden coming in, just the great timing on that double peak, right? The player from Secret was peeking at the same time Madden clears the angle. So Woxic, even if he gets the kill, he would have been instantly traded. But ENCE, they win the second, and more importantly, as you pointed out earlier, Vince, they had 1 player surviving earlier, now they have 4, and they have the weapon upgrade in the form of Sphinx, trading out the Galil for the A1, and Hades with an AWP picked up from the corpse of Woxic. Buy will still be in for Eternal Fire. Despite losing 2 in a row without saving any weapons, they still have so much cash to work with.
Yeah, that's just how comfortable and easy it was for the first 6 or so rounds, but they have lost more from Madden. A man possessed, a man aggressive, and Calyx, though, will stand his ground. Valiantly sweeps aside 2, giving Woxic a chance now to clutch the rest as he goes round the silos, should get the backstab in, but Snappy has snuck his way down to the B site. 70 HP remains, but he's in a 1-on-3. Just changing the angle of the door gives him a little bit more cover. A hit and run. Knowing that one of these players spots the second, but xCloud will not miss his chance. And Eternal Fire have stabilized once more.
Calyx was in such an uncomfortable position towards an upper bomb side, but somehow gets away with 2. This is great. Great work there. First, not able... Yeah, gets a second kill as well before getting traded. And backup arriving real quickly as well. This is so important for xCloud to win. If he gets taken down there, now it's a 1v1. And Woxic has an AWP, bear in mind. And his position was kind of known. Snappy knew he was towards the upper bomb site. But again, Woxic as well. Great stuff on the bomb site there with the AWP. Pretty much all by his lonesome, able to isolate those duels and get 2. So ENCE lose a couple. But the thing is, that's a problem, right? For Eternal Fire, even if they're able to bring this back and win rounds here and there, if ENCE get to like 4, maybe even 5 rounds on his T side, they're going to be pretty happy with that.
Oh yeah, considering this start, absolutely. And as you mentioned before, their CT side is a fortress. This side is no joke at all. They've fended off some of the best teams on the planet. To put it in perspective, they have a 16-8 victory over FaZe in recent memory. And, well, I think FaZe have been quite the formidable unit as of late. So they are more than capable of bringing this one back. Tactical timeout has come and gone. We are ready to jump back into the saddle, and it will see ENCE with a buy, of course, with full assault rifles, and Woxic using that Molotov to go in for the quick peek. Nothing there, and he actually does take a bit of damage. He's down to 69 HP.
He's going to be fine with that, considering the weapon he is wielding. Xantares once more towards the entrance of Secret, towards the garage position. And ENCE They decide they don't want to head in that particular direction. And Antares being there and having all the information he has is going to allow these CTs on the upper bomb side to just sit on the bomb side. Amor's position here in Rafters as well. This is something that might not be expecting. I don't think he's been playing this position too many times yet. This happened. Here comes the hit from ENCE.
Alex has done so much though in these rounds, and now Emor at a different angle, spins around, pivots in for 2 on a swivel, turrets in, and we'll be dropping down. Another kill to Emor. 3 frags will be where he is put to rest, but he can rest easy, knowing that Madden now to 1-on-3 is so unlikely to pull off this clutch, but the first frag is given away for free, and the trajectory of that flash, he'll know that Woxic is up in heaven. It's all about that second play. He has no idea where xFloud currently resides. He's been spotted in previous rounds on ramp, typically plays on the B side. And Madden, using the smoke for the plant, finalizes it, gives himself a bit of maneuverability out towards the squeaky side now. And he's not been spotted. He's not been peeked from heaven. Woxic is so tentative, so careful. And now the two of them are going to be clumped together. They do have a smoke. They do have a couple of kits as well. As Woxic drops down to 34 HP now. Smoke has been tossed out, but not onto main. It will, however, cover a couple of angles and allow Madden to maybe peek in and clutch this yet, but Woxic is watching with the AWP. Perfect position, perfect timing, and Emor's 3K is capitalized on.
I think Woxic might have spotted the shoulder of Madden there. Nice attempt from Madden, but Woxic being very impactful. But yeah, Emor again, man, so much impact being found by the IGL. And yeah, Woxic was so sure where Madden was coming in from. There was no time for Madden to wrap around all the way from either from the outside yard or from ramp towards heaven. So we knew there were 2 avenues available. One was towards coming out from Squeaky or from mains. And considering how focused he was on the mains position, I am sure that he saw a pixel from Madden and he was just jiggling around the corner. Hades though with the op, he's got to find Woxic early on as ramp control being contested here.
Xantares again though, man. Outside has just been his domain. It's been his battleground. The landlord evicting ENCE time after time. Hades not falling for that shoulder peek. There's a player to his right. That's xFloud though, and he gets baited in. xFloud pushes him out of the round, and Eternal Fire again have the advantage.
Well, surprised that Hades got a little overeager. He had a teammate nearby, which was Spinks. They could have grouped up together, try to go for a trade perhaps, but yeah. xFloud punishes him. So despite getting the opening pick, Eternal Fire bringing it back. Outside control, as you said, firmly with Xantares, but Snappy has snuck his way inside the control room. So this is something to work with. This is some information they have to work with. But the only avenue here, seemingly for ENCE, is to come in from a ramp position. It's Snappy trying to catch xFloud off guard, and now he knows the jig is up. He knows where they're coming in from. He's going to find 3, almost the 4th as well, as Xantares will steal the kill away. But what a hold from xFloud.
Yeah, exquisite hold from xFloud. No bomb plant. No real kills in that round either. So ENCE are in an awkward spot again. They've already called 2 tactical timeouts, by the way. So they're clearly feeling very uncomfortable, as you'd expect from this kind of a scoreline. They're down to a half buy. And again, you've just got to give so much props to Eternal Fire that they come through on Nuke. We're painting a pretty grim picture. Understandably, the statistics don't lie. What we've seen from ENCE in the past doesn't lie. And yet, they've been made to look like a very ordinary Nuke team so far as they look to explode out, courtesy of Snappy with a Tech 9. It could just be the run and gun that yields another round. Snappy gets 2, but they didn't check their angles. Calyx now, he goes in for 2 of his own. And Madden's the last man standing, not for the first time in a clutch. Will be vent diving, drop down to 47 HP. Still tons of time on the clock, but he's just going to make a beeline for the site and look to try and plant. At the very least, it'll be ticking forward that economy and gives him a chance now in this post plant behind the smoke to try and do something. He's being tagged up though, down to 43, but he's managed to bypass this angle. xFloud may not be anticipating this now. He knows where both players are. This is winnable for Madden. First frag down, leaving Woxic all that remains with the opening peeks in and takes down Madden anyway. The audacity to go for the re-peek, and Eternal Fire have dialed in their 10th round.
That was so very close that Madden once again put into the clutch, not able to come out on top. Honestly, I felt like he had it. Once he gets the first kill onto I do believe it was Calyx, he knows where Woxic is, the flashbang giving it away. And despite having the angle, Woxic with the crouch peek, there we go. Oh, brilliant stuff from Woxic. 10-2. You go back to Dust 2, the scoreline was 10-3. So this is even one better from Eternal Fire on his defensive side. And this time it's been a team effort, Vince. It's not just been the Emor show. Everyone stepping up. Xantares towards outside, Calyx being a rock as well towards a ramp position, xFlower towards upper. Sorry, actually it's Calyx towards upper, and then of course Woxic with the AWP. This time he's not missing the shots, he's finding the impact, and ENCE struggling. Xantares once again getting the opening, and Emor, he's continuing his reign of terror. So unreasonable some of the shots he's hitting.
Hades with the SG, not for the first time though. It's put him down. 3-on-3. Still over a minute on the clock. Bomb's now being retrieved by Hades outside. Woxic's going to be making moves in, but he's already bypassed that into secret. They do still have a player on top of main though. Madden sneaking his way through on the vents. Eternal Fire must realize that downstairs control has been forfeit. They do still have a player here though in the form of xFlower. He's had a real turn of fortune. As you said, this has been very much a team effort from Eternal Fire. Meanwhile, Diha has gone cold, 2 for 12, and he was a huge, big unit on the Dust 2 performance. Woxic in the meanwhile, though, makes short work of Spinks. Now xFlower's going to be called upon, gets one, that should be good enough. It puts Hades into a 1-on-2. There'll be another post plant. There'll be another opportunity, but Eternal Fire have put most of these in the win column. But Hades going to be taking the initiative, getting in aggressively. The spray's not there. Both of the remaining Turkish players survive on just a measly 21 and 26 HP respectively. ENCE cannot buy a round right now.
They've tried almost everything they can, and Eternal Fire, this defense has been almost impeccable. The decision making, some of the retakes as well, it's just been very confident retakes. You go back to the past 5 rounds, Vince, you just take a look at the round history. They've got the bomb down 4 times out of the past 5. And Eternal Fire have still managed to come out on top time and time and time again. Just impressive stuff. And Woxic as well, he doesn't have to go nuclear every single time. He's just missing his shots. He just has to hit the shots where ENCE just dry peeking into him, and that's what Spinks did, hoping to catch him off guard. He even had his crosshair places to where Woxic was, where Woxic is right now so quick on the trigger. As Calyx now on top of the rafters. Even the way they're playing this upper bomb side, they're mixing things up. They're not playing the same old defaults, confusing things. As Xantares is going to find D-Head and Woxic. He's feeling adventurous. He's pushing pretty deep towards red, and that is something they haven't done thus far, and could catch ENCE off guard. There's so much information here for Eternal Fire to work with.
Once again, Xantares just picking a straggler off, and Diha 2 and 13. I can't remember the last time I saw him have this rough of a time on Nuke. He has just not been a threat, not been a factor whatsoever on the side of ENCE. Now Emor silently drops back down again, repositioning on the vents. And the fact they have Calyx at the back of the site, who's had so many good rounds, puts this into an awkward spot. Now, there are 3 Molotovs still remaining. They expect one of these gets tossed into this very angle, which it has. And then a flashbang out as Emor looks to try and pivot in for a kill. 31 HP becomes 0 as Madden on the peak takes him down, and the vent dive comes in. So often they've got into these positions with 1 or 2 players remaining, but now they should have more bodies. Or I say that, but xFlower is putting them to bed right here. 46 HP remains for him. 2 players cross. Hades takes his head clean off, but Xantares is still there. And Spinks is all alone for quite some time because Snappy is still outside. He's in no position to help his teammate out, and he's going to have to run out into the open. Calyx should have him. It's another scrappy, dismal round from ENCE in the end. Eternal Fire have punished them time after time.
In that 2v2, they knew exactly what Snappy was because he got that opening pick. Sorry, he got that lurk pick towards outside. And the moment he gets taken down, round is done there, Vince. You called it. It was so far away. I'm not sure if I think it was Spinks who went for that duel, and he just got absolutely dumpstered as well. And he had to take that fight at that point in time because he was getting pressured from the second CT coming in from Decon. As we head to the final round of the first half, 12 and 2. Ladies and gentlemen, there's no need to check your eyes. That is indeed a scoreline. Eternal Fire have put up a mountain of a defense here against this ENCE T-side of Nuke. And they're looking to make it 13 wins. This has been a masterclass from the Turks.
Oh, they've played this so well. ENCE, though, haven't shown up, but Eternal Fire have been lights out. This has been a phenomenal CT side. Don't get it twisted. It's looking like a 13-2 half is going to be coming up. And we were discussing before how ENCE have been so good on their CT sides, but I don't think 2 rounds is leaving yourself much.
Yeah, I did say you will need at least 4 or 5, and ENCE would still be happy. Yeah, with 2 rounds, I don't know. Their defense is really, really solid, don't get me wrong, but they have almost no margin of error as Spinx, final round of this first half. Is he going to come alive? He's only on 6 kills here in 15, in 15 rounds. The 3v2 with the bomb getting planted, there is a chance ENCE might be able to steal away around number 3.
There's certainly a possibility at this point, considering how dead and buried this round looked just a few moments prior. They have decent post-plant positions as well. Spinx can play off Hades' contact or vice versa here. Time already dwindling, about half of the fuse remaining. Hades has lost his teammate, sprays in for 1, but there is Calyx and another successful retake. Eternal Fire have been so good when it comes to these B-site retakes, time after time getting success, and ENCE have 2 rounds to play with. And keep in mind, so far, Eternal Fire have 3 out of 3 pistol rounds that have gone their way in this best of 3 series.
Yeah, and this time around, ENCE, they have a mountain to climb, 13-2. And what a retake as well. The retakes have been so very good. And listen, sure, everyone's had a great time walking with the AWP as well. It's like not over peaking. He's just not missing any of his shots. But Xantares, it's almost like he guarantees Eternal Fire a kill in every single round, especially during the opening duels towards outside. And on this retake as well, right, able to get the opening pick, and the moment he gets taken down, the trades are instantaneous. This has been a beautifully played CD side coming out from Eternal Fire, and here we go, a fast hit coming in towards the upper bomb site.
ENCE need their first pistol round of the series, and Madden gets 3 kills with the Julies, make it 4, on for the ace. He's just destroyed Eternal Fire. Blinking you to miss that round. Spinx denies the ace. Not that they'll care, because they finally have their hands on a pistol round.
Dooley's fans rejoice. That was incredible. We didn't even see a single kill from his POV. The flash was there. Catches the first. Okay, this is so quick. The third one as well. I think he even caught the third kill with the recoil of the bullet. And if you're ENCE, you'll take that, Vince. They have a lot of rounds to find before they can feel even a little bit uncomfortable here on this map. Pick of theirs. Eternal Fire, it's going to be the full block. There's no need to press the issue. They have so much of a buffer to work with. A lot of time as well. All they need here, Vince, is 3 more rounds out of the 14 they have to work with on the second half. And we will see map number 3.
Yeah, to put it in perspective, the last time the ENCE didn't hit double digits on Nuke was against Na'Vi in the major. Na'Vi were the only team to body bag them this hard. However, they are making a mini comeback. They lost 2 players. Some nice frags put down on the ramp. But as you said, Blair, this is going to have to be one of many. And there is no room for error here whatsoever. The second that ENCE take their eye off the prize here, the second that they make a mistake, that could be just game over, and we could be headed to our 3rd map.
And considering the investment, or rather the lack of, from Eternal Fire this round, the fact they get away with 2 guns is huge. And those rifles are not retrievable. So only the 1 M4 safe from the previous round, 2 MP9s in play. You see the repurchase coming in, so Madden and Snappy, alongside Hades, pretty low on funds, but the AUG in the hands of Hades. He likes to scope rifles, Vince. Did have a bit of a struggle on the T side with the SG, but he's making that AUG look good, at least here early on in the first buy round coming out from Eternal Fire. Can ENCE hold on against the full buy here? That's the first challenge of many in this half. But we did sing praises of this defense from ENCE on Nuke. And this is going to be a real challenge. This is where they show that what we said was true. This is where we get to see what this defense can do for ENCE. And speaking of defense, Hades is doing everything by his lonesome, seemingly. They're just going for the dry swings, the dry fights. And at that range, the AUG, it's going to come out on top.
Yeah, tailor-made for those kind of angles. Interestingly, you took the SG on the T side, now the AUG on the CT side. So, all about the scopes. And yeah, ENCE, the CT side, we know it's a known quantity how good it is. Is it good enough, though, to come back from this deficit? So far, so good. Eternal Fire, plucked down, no casualties as well. No bomb plant means this is going to be a bit of a gimme round on the side of ENCE. But my big concern here, though, Blair, is on a lot of those CT halves that we've seen where ENCE have kind of run away with it when they've looked incredibly sharp, Diha has been front and center. He has been a big component of it. He is still on only 2 kills, and we're moving into round 19.
Yeah, that's a rough scoreline. But CT side, that's where it could indeed come alive. And he said it as well, the previous round flawless. And even able to upgrade one of the MP9s to the AK-47, which was, I do believe, snappy. For ENCE, this long climb ahead. It's not just about stringing rounds together, Vince. It's also about stringing it in a way where you have money to work with. As Snappy is getting harassed. He needs backup. It's a nice little spray down from Snappy. Finally, it will fall. The ace will be denied, but that's okay. That's okay. It's a good hole overall from ENCE. And I was talking about how they need to ensure they keep as many players alive as possible, maintain a healthy bank balance, because you don't want to be in a situation where finally Eternal Fire, they win a round, and then you're just staring at a half buy or just pistols or maybe a FAMAS in play, right? So you want to ensure that in the scenario where Eternal Fire finally able to get the first tier on board, you're not in any danger of not having a full-fledged buy come the next round. So thus far, ENCE, they're doing the right job. But now, the faster play potentially coming in from Eternal Fire, no, it's just the initial barrage utility, and the return nade and incendiaries from ENCE will keep them at bay. Okay, that's smoke though.
Spinks, keeping the MP9 even though he had 6,800 when you're this close to defeat was an interesting decision. Emo in the meanwhile though, 16 HP has been finalized from Snappy's downstairs, but Snappy on the receiving end of Calix's AK, and that could open up business to the B site. Diha though has at least came back with one of his own, but it is going to be a post plant. Meanwhile, Woxic though comes out second best in that spray. Hades really shouldn't be getting the upper hand from that angle. But now Calix and xFloud, who had so many big rounds on that CT side, have to go above and beyond once more. How many times do we see Eternal Fire successfully retake the B site? Spinks, in the meanwhile, though, will finalize onto Calix, who was low. And now xFloud at least has the bomb plant for his position, but they must expect this one as the spray is in, and neither of them were checking decon. That is an area that has to get looked at, and ENCE have paid the full price.
It was a super late flank coming in there from xFloud, Vince. They had no idea, because bear in mind, there was one of the CTs coming in from Squeaky who got taken down. Who's coming in from Decon, who got taken down by Calix. So they were like, there's no way there's going to be that late a look coming in from xFloud. They were 100% so focused, so sure it was going to be the player playing towards ramp. But that late, super late flank working out wonderfully for Eternal Fire. They find the first on the T side. 2 more to go. For ENCE, though, because some of these rounds were very, very clean indeed, they will have no trouble going for the buy. Eternal Fire, they show, might take a while, but they can crack this defense from ENCE.
Eternal Fire playing such great Counter-Strike right now. ENCE may not be in their element, but we always know that they've got that one just a couple gears away. Can they reach it, though? Because although I mentioned D has had a slow start, so has Spinks. Spinks hasn't quite been there, and he was huge on that Dust 2 performance as well. Meanwhile, though, Eternal Fire taking their sweet time, lobby control, and outside, now going their way. But there's 2 players downstairs, one of which is Spinks, and he's looking for that angle, and this timing may work out in his favor. Zantares has no idea he's about to be a goner. Does spin around, which would have been a bit of a jump scare for Spinks, I'm sure. But he still put the bullets where it counted. Now Madden from above, solid damage. Diha gets traded out from Woxic, but xFloud is turned away before Emo makes moves up on Heaven. They have no idea about this one. Emo's biding his time. Spin around from Madden, but it's too little too late. Now the spray's good. So much damage done to Hades, who's finished off. 2 on 2. And ENCE with 25 seconds to try and deny this bomb plant. A low Calyx is finalized, but Woxic is still in with a chance. 15 kills to his name, spotting the first player on main. But now here comes Snappy in the meanwhile. Gonna go in for that wide swing. Woxic removes him, but there's the wall bang from Spinx. ENCE get it done, but it's at great cost.
If Spinx doesn't find that wall bang, that could easily go the way of Woxic. He could play the C4, he just bide his time. Oh, that came down to the wire again, Vince. The flank they're coming in from Emor, they had no idea. And it's shocking, if you ask me, for ENCE, because the ramp player had gone down to the lower bomb site, so they had no eyes towards ramp, so they had to be cognizant of the fact that there could be a player coming in from above. There could be a flank coming in from heavens, but thankfully Spinx finding the final kill through with the wall bang, keeping ENCE still in the game. They do suffer a lot of casualties, so whatever bang balance they had, it's been whittled away to almost nothing. Eternal Fire though, guns out. As ENCE trying to mount this comeback, they've at least cut the deficit in half, but still a long way to go. 14-7 is still heavily favoring the side of Eternal Fire as Emor dropping in from above, and they're just shutting this one down. The upper bomb side is getting cracked open, and Madden has to go big.
Madden has been such a huge component of this ENCE team on Nuke. 19 kills, but they find themselves a player behind. It's going to be a wide swing in as well from Snappy, who does get one. Zentara is splatted from the A1S, but two of the Turkish teammates have pushed down onto the B site. At post-plant positions, Xflower will be behind the silo, and his teammate just ahead of him. Woxic down to 65. Snappy playing with his food, gets punished. The spray, not quite there. Grenade up and over, won't be landing. USP only for Madden on 31 HP. And Woxic on 38. He's biding his time and waiting. He does have a kit. Smoke down, though. But if one bullet connects through that smoke, this round is a done deal. There's a slight gap in the smoke as well. But so Woxic misses, but he doesn't get punished. Madden misses out on the spray. And our Eternal Fire have 8 map points.
That was a whirl there. Woxic, he misses it. And Madden, just a couple of bullets, all he needed. Oh, that is so unfortunate. He even got the wall bang as well from underneath fence, but he ran out of bullets. 20 bullets only now in the magazine, you got to remember. Oh, what a tale of redemption there for Woxic in a span of 3 seconds. And now Eternal Fire, overtime guaranteed at the very least, but looking at the buy for ENCE, Vince, it looks like map number 3. I can see it poking up on the horizon. It is going to be on Vertigo. And what a statement it's been from Eternal Fire. This could have been 2-0 for Eternal Fire. In all honesty, if you look at the way Dust 2 played out, and they're not quite done yet. Spinx with a sole M4A1 able to find a kill as Zemo was trying to hunt down Hades. Or rather Madden, excuse me, but he will be found. So 5v3 here early on and a rifle retrieved. ENCE are not quite done yet.
Oh, this could be going on a little bit longer. Hades finding some purple patch with that deagle, but Calyx, it was a monster on the CT side, showing that that was not a fluke, that this T-half is just as solid for him. 50 seconds on the clock. Bomb still under control on Eternal Fire, and they're looking to try and make something happen through on the ramp side. Meanwhile, Calyx is anticipating that maybe some rotational play comes in. Try and catch one of these CTs as they go in for these plays, which is a wise decision. They still have time to use here. Molly down, but it seems like it's more of a ruse. D-Hat, though, splatters Calyx with the deagle, and Woxic gets dinked down to 9. And considering there's a Galil in play in both the remaining ENCE players, that should be good enough to yield this round. Woxic going to be caught with the bomb out, sprayed out of his misery, and ENCE have saved 1, but there's 7 more to go.
You have to be a hell of a believer in ENCE to see them mount this comeback. Because even the rounds are winning, it's coming down to the wire. This is a great opportunity, though, for Eternal Fire to make it quick and easy, but they will have to play at the very least 1 more round. Right now, just the pistols here. Spot going for a bit of more of a heavy investment, down to just $450. The rest of them, a little bit of extra cash remaining. It looks like it's going to be just the a dumpster of the nade straight on top, right behind the silo. Unfortunately for Eternal Fire, there's no one playing there. Spinks playing on top of the Hut Madden in front of Squeaky. Of course, have Diha top of Heavens, and Diha, his woes continue, Vince. He's had a very uncharacteristically such a quiet game, the Pole.
Yeah, you so rarely see him drop these kind of numbers, especially on a map like Nuke. Has been a very surprising outcome. Hades, though, to be fair to him, has had a really solid performance, and so has Madden. So the silver lining. Meanwhile, though, Hades may not be done just yet in this round. Spray slightly awry, could be getting swept in. There is a second player up close here. It's Antares, who goes in with a Tech 9. That's an M4 now at Trade's hands, and he is able to pick it up, do a bit more damage onto Madden. 22 HP remains for him, so he has to dart away, and Spinks is watching the cross, and Snappy, with that Galil, will broaden it down to just 2 players remaining. But Woxic is keeping this round alive, and they're again dishing out damage. This all adds up for ENCE. This could be a couple grenades. This could be maybe an AWP or another weapon that's taken away from them into the next round.
That's a bomb spotted on Woxic as well, so that's drawing out the rotation. 2 CTs there. There's a player towards Heavens. The timing is everything. xCloud gets caught out, and now the jig is up. They know where Woxic is. They're going to triangulate on his position. A Snappy will be found. Madden needs to be careful as Woxic's going to find a second kill as well, but there's no time remaining, unfortunately, but he will hold on to the A1. But still dealing so much damage. And what was a round where they didn't invest, well, virtually nothing, Vince. They can go for the buy now. Woxic can drop the A1 to xCloud, and he can buy an AK for himself.
And meanwhile, ENCE have very little to play with. They're going to be down to, like, I think I saw an MP9 dropped. There's going to be a couple of players that have a distinct lack of utility as a result of this. I don't think they can afford an AWP either. So this is a really rough buy. They did do more with less. Yeah, you can see 2 MP9s in play. Just a couple kits and not too many grenades as they look to spill out. But Madden with a triple spray again. This man, undeterred by the massive deficit that his team are in, and a lightning fast round comes to an abrupt ending. Woxic can maybe try to pick up a couple on his way out, but he's also being flanked in. There's a player behind him, which is Madden, that's made moves into the Squeaky, using that smoke to his advantage. It looks like it should be double digits for ENCE. Out of nowhere, Madden just springs in for a triple spray.
Again, at this point, there is no margin for error. ENCE want to keep everyone alive, so it can buy have all the rifles still in play to the next round. Have all the utility as Woxic just taking his time. He knows that they know where he is. He knows where 2 of them are. And just delaying it for as long as possible. All right. Woxic repping the default knife. A rarity in modern day Counter-Strike. There we go. Okay, that is just perfect.
You have to throw a caveat in, though, as good as that was from Madden, take nothing away from him. The fact that he was able to be out in the open like that and no flashbang affects him, he's just able to sit there and just basically spray them down, is a bit of a concern for Eternal Fire.
5 opportunities now, Vince, for them to close this one out. Comes so very close, and then if ENCE were to take it to OT, that's a big if. That's a massive if. Things start getting hairy, and that's when the pressure starts to mount. Thus far, Eternal Fire should still be feeling pretty comfortable here. Have the hurt towards outside, hoping that his fortunes will improve after a while. Rough spot there for Snappy, but the captain, he will escape as Antares trying to hunt him down. But that's ramp control arrested here by Eternal Fire.
Man, that's ridiculous. Snappy survived that on 2 HP. I have no idea. He's finally gone down, and he's got caught a couple times with grenades out, switching weapons. And that's put his team in a very awkward position here downstairs. All 5 players healthy. All 5 players hungry to get this map finished off. Hades, though, is going to give them a lifeline, which is taken away from Emo. as he flatlines Diha with his AK, still in position, but will be coming out second best. Xantares there as the strength in numbers approach comes in, and Hades with it all to do. 1 on 3 with the AWP, and Xantares puts him down. Eternal Fire.
Anyway, Eternal Fire will win the knife round, and they will be starting on the CT side. Not too surprised with that decision. But here we go, Vince. It's going to be a tale of redemption. Here's the thing. If maybe a couple of rounds, a couple of hero plays had not gone the way of ENCE on Dust 2, this would have been a 2-0 for Eternal Fire. It would have been a convincing 2-0. Both the first halves of those two maps, Nuke and Dust 2, were Eternal Fire having a 10-3 and a 10-2 lead respectively. So it comes down to like having good hot starts on these in this entire series thus far. It's been Eternal Fire who's always had the lead, and it's been ENCE who had to mount the comeback.
That's a very good point. A very good point indeed to highlight. I think Eternal Fire can feel very confident about their opportunities and chances here coming forward on the CT side. They'll be moving in. ENCE, meanwhile, though, exploiting the short lack of presence, but not getting any kills so far. Pushing into the side, Emo holds the line for 1. Does spill the bomb out, but it's now going to get planted down all the same from Spinx. And with smokes in the eyes of Eternal Fire, they can't do much. I say that as Woxic puts a bullet in the head of Spinx, and that Arai bullet is going to give them an advantage on this retake.
Huge advantage Smoke going as well, but Smoke is not on the bomb, and that means they have to go for the wide swing, and this is messy. Oh, this is so messy from ENCE. Emo and Xcloud to just chip on in, and Snappy left alone in a 1 versus 4, and there's absolutely nothing he could do. Clean retake coming in from Eternal Fire, and that's Smoke, right, Vince? Because it wasn't on the bomb, it was so well, it was such a forward position. ENCE had to go for the wide swing and take those duels, but it just went in 1 by 1. They didn't group up together, and there was so many multiple targets there for the Glocks to find. And Eternal Fire having a very, very easy time winning that retake.
Yeah, very scrappy again from ENCE, wasn't it? Eternal Fire seemed like they're all singing from the same page. All reading the same scripts, whereas ENCE seem a little bit lost at sea. That being said, though, the bomb plant does afford them 3 rifles. And we saw them win a couple of rounds, especially on that Nuke performance with very little, but Xantares and Woxic are making this look easy. 2 headshots delivered first class instantly, and a lot of damage inflicted to Snappy. Also, Emo's made moves down on the ladders, so he has a fast backstab if it'll get called in that they're a little bit vulnerable. Molotov if it extends, Snappy's in trouble there. It won't, but now Emo is going to take the opportunity to try and pick this one up. Bomb's been spilled down, and Xantares goes in. And in fact, the molly did extend in the very last tick, and that finished off Snappy. So D-Hat in a 1-on-5. And I tell you what, if Eternal Fire pick this one up without losing too many casualties, they are off to a cracking start here on Vertigo.
D-Hat, all eyes on him. 98 HP is already taking care of Emo. He has the time to work with and the bomb. But Vince, this is going to be a gargantuan ask of him. And there we go. The timing doesn't quite pan out. And you said it, Vince. Sure, they lose a 1 player, but that's a FAMAS lost. That's it. Eternal Fire off to a fantastic start. And for ENCE, considering it was the force buy, based off that bomb plan in the first round, they're now going to just have the pistols to work with. Maybe a Deagle, a couple of P250s to come out, but Eternal Fire... You said it best, Vince. Like, if you looked at Nuke and Vertigo as the 2 maps where Eternal Fire might stand a chance against ENCE, it would be Vertigo. They've shown that they have the chops, they have what it takes, and they're very, very comfortable on this map, primarily on the CT side, where they found so much success. And ENCE, they should be aware of that as well. Early find from Calyx. It is, of course, just the pistols being purchased, though, for the side of ENCE.
Yeah, I think on the talent predictions, everyone said that they fancied ENCE to win this game. I'm trying to remember. I think everyone did go for ENCE. Understandably so as well. In this round, though, D-Hat has connected a headshot onto Xflow, but it's already at the cost of 2 of his teammates. And although he can pick up that M4, he's already been spammed down. However, Hades on the prowl behind won't be required. And that's great news, actually, because that now allows Hades to position up close. He hasn't given his position away here. Because D-Hat finalized this, he's going to have the drop. They have no idea that he's up close in this position. But although D-Hat's now making moves in, if D-Hat's spotted and fragged, they will still be uncertain as to a second player's presence. And that allows Hades to go for the wide swing, but he comes out second best. D-Hat now in a spot of trouble. He's got players above him, one on CT side, bombs ticking away, all amongst this now though, but Diha shows his hand, and he pounces in for 2. It could be a 3rd as well, but Woxic will be able to deal the fatal damage to him. Does have a kit, does have a bit of time to play with, but now he may have run out, and he's run out of health anyway. Spinks will put an end to that. Diha already having more impact in these first couple of rounds than he did on the entirety of Nuke, and that's good news for ENCE.
He had 4 kills, I believe, by round number 25, 26. He already has 5 kills here, and these are impact kills as well. Honestly, if Woxic had just gone clearing out the angle, his days were numbered. He would have maybe found 1 kill, but he would have been immediately traded. And you could see he was focused on Woxic coming around that angle, but then no one expects it. You painted a perfect picture of that, Vince. You're like, they're going to find Diha, they won't be expecting Hades. In fact, it was the roles getting reversed. Because of a surprise win there for ENCE. You can see the buy isn't ideal for Eternal Fire. We have the FAMAS for Calyx, 5-7 for Emor. The rest of them A1s. Limited utility as well. They use up some of the early smokes. 2 smokes, a couple of flashes, and 1 nade remaining for the CTs, and not even a single kit. So a retake would be problematic, which is why we have such forward positioning for Woxic, and his days are numbered. His days are numbered, but somehow stays alive. 21 HP. The smoke coming in from his teammate to somehow still stick on around. If he escapes, this is going to be just ludicrous.
This would be a play that Houdini would be proud of. I cannot believe he's still alive here. You say his days are numbered, but that number is unknown, Blair. It could be hundreds upon hundreds left alive here. That is ridiculous. The fact that ENCE were not able to do anything. There was a Molotov down. It got smoked out from a teammate. He dodged bullets. He dodged everything to pull back to the site. But more so than just that speculation itself of whether ENCE now have to be worried about him being on side or maybe on the scaffolding, it allows them to bolster up this defense that little bit more. They haven't lost any players. This is where even on a low HP, just 1 stray bullet through the smoke from Woxic could be seal a deal. Calyx, in the meanwhile, has a couple of players line up for him, sprays, but does damage, but no kills, and goes back in for more. They still have yet to get this plant down. Snappy runs out of ammunition, whips out the Deagle, is doing fatal damage, picks up 2 frags, and now Spinks picks it up and tries to run away with this round. Good kill from Calyx, though. He's keeping ENCE honest. 2v2 on this retake.
No kit, no smokes to work with for the CTs as well.
Still stuck on the sandbags. Stuck on ramp. Calyx is thinking about going for a rotational play. That lack of kit, though, as you highlighted, could be the determining factor. And now Spinks capitalizes onto Calyx and forces Antares away. ENCE have got it done, but by the skin of their teeth. It was incredibly close at the end.
What a round from Snappy there. Pushing in through the smoke, trying to catch Eternal Fire at the edge of the smoke. And yeah, it did look a little messy there for Eternal Fire. Snappy, he wasn't seeing the smoke obscuring the vision, able to get away with 2. Yeah, this is where we go. First one. And a second player doesn't even see where he's coming in from. The fadeaway shot onto Woxic, who, you gotta remember, he was very lucky to stay alive early on. And despite Xantares and Calyx bringing it back, the patience from ENCE being rewarded. Once Calyx falls, now the jig is up. Xantares having to hold on to his A1 as ENCE will tie things up. And now it's going to be an eco coming in for the CT side. They do have the A1 in the hands of Mr. Xantares, and we all know what he can do with that.
Oh, I mean, he was untouchable, honestly, on that Nuke game outside. Blair, how many times did he get 1 kill, 2 kills here or there? And it wasn't just the CT side, it was the T side as well. He had ENCE in his back pocket. So with this M4, he definitely can pivot in and strike a couple of times and maybe get this into an awkward position on the side of the Ts. But as if their money has boomed on a couple of these players yet either. So there are certainly ways back into this half. It's Woxic who goes down first. There is the M4. There is the M4 twice. And a 3rd time as well from Xantares as he terminates all the oncoming Ts and sweeps them aside. And although he may go down, it's at the cost of a lot of health on Madden, but he will stand his ground as he limps his way to the site. Now finished off from xFloud, 1-on-1. Diha with the AK in a round that should never have got this close. And it could still go the way of the CTs. xFloud gets aim punched. It doesn't matter anyway because his head is removed. A beautiful effort from Xantares. But ENCE, again, slither by and pick up their 3rd.
He did everything he could from that position, Vince. Like, just the saved A1, finding 3 kills and almost getting the 4th frag as well onto Madden. But survives and I believe like 15 HP or something. Great start from him. And in the end, yeah, the aim punch proving to be the undoing. The final member there for Eternal Fire and ENCE. They hold on, but they were made to bleed there. That was an expensive round indeed. Made. Sailed in from Emor. That could deal quite a bit of damage. Just a little bit of chip damage, although Spinks does take the brunt of that. Down to 63 HP, but that's not going to slow them down. Slowly creeping on up. For the time being, it's only on Emor. FAMAS in hand. Molotov, that's a giveaway we're coming in for, but it's such a deep molly that it means he can take this fight, but he will be punished.
xCloud now has to go above and beyond, runs out of the ammunition. You see it again, those extra 5 bullets. Could have made a huge difference. But Eternal Fire, do they even want to go for this with their weapons, with their money situation? I think they're going to save here, Blair. I think they're giving this one up.
They have to. They really don't have much to work with come round number 7, do they? Considering the complete lack of control, Xantares at least able to find Spinks, but still the bomb is ticked away for a while. No kits on any of the surviving CTs as well. He's already on the hunt here. Finds Calyx, who will be expecting the 2nd player. Every gun that ENCE are able to take away makes the next round even more guaranteed. Woxic, there's no need for him to go on poking any further. Hades is going to lie in wait, plucks his head off. That was a bit of a mistake from Woxic. He knew there were a couple of players nearby, so if you're going for the save, there's no need to go for the attempt to force the exits. You can wait for them to hunt you down, but they had 3 rifles there, Vince, and to get away with only 1. Now it's once again going to be just the pistols. We did, however, see how Xantares could make that solitary A1 pull off some magic, so hopefully Xantares can again replicate that. But again, once more for the rest of his teammates, it's just going to be the pistols. A bit of Kevlar purchase this time around, though, and so a few smokes and a flashbang as well. But a fast play coming in towards B this time around.
Ooh, dunk nades. Dihar takes the brunt of that. Actually wasn't as bad as I was expecting. Only 3 HP lost on Snappy. See from his icon, he got fully flashed. Flash is going to subside. Another HE tossed in. Doing a really good job of keeping ENCE at arm's reach. And now putting in another kill is Xantares. That hero M4 springs into action. And you can almost see that ENCE instantly, the respect is shown. They pull the plug. They say, okay, fair enough, Xantares. You want B-site? We'll just maneuver our way out of here.
Slowly pivoting back towards that A-bomb side. They're still leaving xCloud, though. It's playing up a little bit up closer to 5-7 here, so you could at least take down a member. As ENCE, they're looking to still head back towards his B-bomb side. That's the right call as well.
Well, none of these grenades are affecting xCloud, though, so this 5-7 can rip through a couple plays, but it's only 1. A 1 and done. But with a 4v3 and Xantares still on the site, there was a way forward, but Hades. A brisk entry. One of the few players on ENCE that really showed up on Nuke. After a fairly lackluster Dust 2 performance. And Snappy, though, will go down to the hands of Emor. And that's an AK that trades hands. And now Woxic nearly gets the drop. Gets found out by Hades and put in his place. The last 2 remaining CTs are over on the ramp side. They've boosted up with the AK. The bomber's just got planted down as well, so there is a bit of time here. Emor's taking damage, comes around the corner, but they both get slaughtered from the AKs. And ENCE extend their lead to 5-2.
Very, very crucial round there from Hades, getting the first 2 opening picks. Despite what was, again, Xantares getting the opening duel there with the A1, pivoting back, and on that late flank as well. xCloud as well, he was all alone. The nades were deep. Oh, what a tap by Hades. And even protecting his teammate, Woxic not quite able to prevent the bomb from getting planted. Massive round from Hades, despite the fact that sure, it was just the pistols from Eternal Fire. It did still come down to the 2 versus 2, so... low stuff, but ENCE are now on a streak of their own, Vince. It looks like fortune is finally starting to favor the Finnish org. It's now 5 in a row. Eternal Fire yet to really find much apart from the first 2 rounds here. A few bullets peppering away at the T's waiting at the bottom of ramp, and there is Xantares up close and personal, looking for ENCE to challenge it. He's even giving away his position.
Flash up and over, but Calyx through the smoke is going to pounce in. That allows the rest of his teammates to back out of ramp fairly uncontested. They've only lost minimal damage on xFloud. Woxic down to 63. So though ENCE are on fire right now, and they have had a very good turn of fortune, this is a round where Eternal Fire are certainly in the ascendancy. And they'll fancy like this is a winnable round, a round that they really should grasp onto. And let's be honest, if they want to start to come back into this half, they're going to have to win these kinds of rounds. Xantares is perched up close with the M4. If any kind of flash precedes this peak, it could be curtains for ENCE. As they go around slowly, and Xantares will show his hand, but it's snatched away with a flashbang. Runs out of ammunition, runs out of health, but Woxic's there with the AWP. Is keeping ENCE in an awkward position as he falls back. Still 4 players on the CTs remaining with 20 seconds to spare. Madden will be forcing the plant down. There's no grenades to deal with him either. So not only will he get the plant, the Molotov was too late, allowing him to back out of there. But they do have xFloud, the ace up the sleeve, the ace in the hole to try and pounce in, and he'll do just that. Leaves Madden in such an awkward position, and Calyx will finalize. So they do concede the bomb plant. They're keeping 4 players alive, will allow them to trade up to 3 AKs, and that's a great round for Eternal Fire.
Yeah, great flank there. The timing of the flank could not have been any better from xFloud, and also Xantares once more holding a one-and-done spot, able to get the kill. Great work from his teammates as well, from Calyx and Woxic, to ensure he gets traded. Defense is good, and finally they've managed to crack it, Vince. They find a round, a buy round. Question is, can they carry on the streak and get a few more rounds together before they can feel comfortable? Because if you're ENCE, you're still looking pretty fine here. You have 5 in a row, and they would be looking to break the money here for Eternal Fire, but because they kept a lot of members alive, they will still have a bit of cash in the bank. Will be out. ENCE though, down to what could be the final buy if they lose this round, but Madden this time Xantares will be caught. Calyx looking to perforate someone through the smoke. Madden winning with the edge. The flash is good. How is Madden even alive? I don't know, but Calyx replies back, spinning around and finding Snappy and bringing it about to equilibrium. It's a 3 versus 3.
Once again, Calyx on his CT side is having so much impact, but Woxic watching the wrong angle. Fends off from Diha, who riddles him with bullets, and looking to try and turn the screws again, but it Spinks mechanically removes Calyx from the server. And xFloud with just an AK to his side and $2,700. Kind of touched on it just before, Blair. Their money is by no means stable here, so Eternal Fire have got to bite the bullet. They have to save. And ENCE had 5 rounds in a row. EF come back, win 1, and then end straight back into winning ways, which is also great news for their economy, because to be fair, they've lost a lot of players in these last few rounds. So considering the T's had won 5 rounds in a row, you're expecting them to have like $3,000 or $4,000 a piece. That's not the case. It's actually, before the end of this round, only Madden that finds himself over $1,000.
Yeah, a very important round for ENCE to win there, because if they get taken down, they don't save any weapons. Even if they save like a couple of guns, the rest of them would have to maybe go for a full spot with pistols and armor, or just go for a full save. So to stave that away, and yeah, Eternal Fire, they get 1. What a beautiful flash of Diha though, right? Madden gets a first kill under Xantares, and then just waits at the edge of the smoke, despite being so very low. The flash comes out from Diha, instantly gets a second kill as well, and despite the heroics there from Calyx to get a 2K, and just inexorable march coming in towards the A bomb side, and Eternal Fire not able to stop it, as we will have the first tactical timeout coming in for Eternal Fire. And in fact, I'm surprised the first one is coming in this late into the first half.
Yeah, maybe trying to ride off the momentum, because even in some of those rounds, Xantares was landing some kills here and there with those hero M4s, so maybe didn't want to stop the confidence streak that was coursing through his veins, but realizing very abruptly that they're in an awkward position here. And this is a fulcrum point of this half, and potentially this best of 3 series. If they don't get into winning ways, ENCE could just start to run away with this half and put up a untenable 10-11 rounds, something like that on the T half, which may be a bridge too far for the Turkish team. So allows them to get a buy-in. They have an AWP in the hands of Woxic, but Hades rapidly peeks up on the B side, and no one is there to deal with him. Emo, in the meanwhile, though, we've already seen these kind of plays a couple of times from him. He likes to get aggressive through on middle, but they've already conceded the kill on xFloud, and because he was their only B defender, it is forcing away an over-rotation.
Yeah, and I'm sure ENCE know this as well. And I love how, despite getting the opening pick, they're not getting over-eager. They're slowing it down. Diha finding the B-bomb set, tossing in a bit of utility as well. And here comes the push. This is huge for Emor, actually catching Hades. So, despite losing the man early on, they bought themselves a bit of time. Woxic, how did that even miss? What?
Did he move maybe just before shooting? That's the only thing
Perhaps.
I can think of. Either way, thank their lucky stars that they didn't get nailed by that AWP shot, because now 4-on-4 with a potential take, they have sped up the process. 50 seconds on the clock, and Eternal Fire seem to have a very good read of the situation. Multiple players stacked over here. Smoke on side, but Emo's playing behind it. Flashes are good, but Calix's spray lets him down. Emo tries to go in for two, but it's only one. And Azentaris has been split apart as well. Woxic missing a very important shot. Gets the second though, and now D has less alive. He knows he's on the site and just flicks up. No defuse required because Woxic locks it down by himself.
That's a tale of redemption in a round. The first shot missed towards ramp. We were questioning how that even happened. Maybe he moved. The second shot missed as well in the 1v2, but then he makes up for it. What a tap from Diha to open things up, but good resilience from Eternal Fire. Despite the fact that Diha and Spinks are almost able to crack this one back. And Woxic with a 1v2 clutch. I'm not too surprised he even went for that fight there in a 1v1, hoping to catch Woxic off guard, but Woxic too quick. Nice flashbang, but a belabored spray for Emor means he won't really have too many bullets remaining in the magazine, as Snappy will find Xcloud.
I'm surprised they just ran up the ramp like that with their grenades out, honestly. That was nearly a complete disaster. Diha, the timing does readjust just before Emor was able to pass a bullet between his eyes, though. Woxic will make sure that this B site is at least locked down for a few more moments. And ENCE do keep Hades in this position, but they're filtering out with their other two players. HE does a bit of chip damage, but nothing too considerable. And Calix gets up close. Still a minute on the clock, though, Blair, and opportunities and options available to the Ts.
And bear in mind, this is the forced investment from ENCE, right? They're looking to break the money of Eternal Fire. So the Turks, they need to hold on to this round. They can't afford to give this one up. Spinks, Mac 10, Snappy, the captain with the utility, the solitary smoke they have at 2 flashes and a deagle, and Hades with the AK. It's a group up together, heading towards the mid position. And it's all about timing. Xantares, he's falling back. He's starting to suss them out. And I think he's got an inkling. With 30 seconds, they need to go for the play. Xantares, he just turns away. But now he knows, he hears them, and he's going to find one. Not the second, though. Snappy shouldn't be able to win this round. And it's all down now to the final man. And Calix is ready and waiting. For a moment there, Vince, I thought Xantares might have just turned away at the worst time possible.
Yeah, that did look like there was a window of opportunity that was suddenly cracked open. Just pure unfortunate timing. But Xantares, his spidey senses tingled, he went back in, and that's the surprising element for me. Yes, there was a flash tossed in there, which did connect onto Spinks, but ENCE getting caught out completely off guard. And Xantares, as we know so many times over the years, this guy is just a turret when it comes to these assault rifles. Meanwhile, Woxic is getting aggressive down on ramp, but no one is there to peek up against him because ENCE on pistols are looking to maybe explode out onto P again, but that is a nuclear warhead that's gone off. 24 HP remains for Diha, 37 for Spinks. And ENCE already the walking wound as they try and push across to the B side of the map.
Slowly fading back. Yeah, apart from the damage dealt by the nade, nothing much else. And you took his name, Vince, and he's a turret right now, but is all alone.
Such an awkward angle, though, especially without any flashes. Now, they may realize this because no one's had any presence on ramp. So you can see they're very nervous and cautious about pushing in. Excuse me, Diha. Okay, 2 kills. Pretty impressive. That's also going to be an AK that trades hands. This round may not be done just yet.
Woxic, he's been solid thus far. There's about a couple of whiff shots here and there, and these he's not going to whiff. Snappy left alone. And if you're ENCE, you know, taking away a couple of guns, you're going to be pretty happy with it. Are you still keeping the economy pretty honest for Eternal Fire? If he gets yet another kill, that's massive. 26 seconds, he can retrieve the AK-47. information must have been conveyed as to where Woxic was holding. Snappy won't, however, find the headshot, and Woxic, 30 HP, picking up a couple of kills, despite taking a couple of casualties there. Eternal Fire will be pretty happy with the way that round played out, as it now managed to string 3 in a row together. 3 more remain though, Vince. It can still go either way. 9-6, real possibility for ENCE. 9-6, real possibility for Eternal Fire as well.
Yeah, considering that ENCE had a vast lead at one stage, they were on fire, they won 5 rounds in a row. Hell of a turnaround on the side of Eternal Fire, but they cannot afford to take anything for granted. Well-placed smoke, and Woxic taking damage through that smoke as well with the orb. Peeks out, there's a gap in the smoke. Did he just flick up and hit Hades? I think he did, but it's at the cost of his life.
The target selection not working out. Actually legs him, Vince. Actually legs him, and yet doesn't get rewarded. And ENCE finding the early opener. That's the A defense. Coming down to these two. Calyx has been a rock. Xantares has been the star. And they have a third member as well to help them out. A flashbang to enable Xantares to get the boost and maybe catch someone off guard. But there was everyone tucked on in, and they heard the drop down, Vince. They're going for the wall bangs as well. But this is uncomfortable for Eternal Fire.
This is really uncomfortable. They do have 2 players, though. Xantares, pixel perfect on his aim. He's looking to try and give some free haircuts. Gets 2. And now Spinks gets 3 of his own. And losing minimal damage in the process. Is looking to go above and beyond. Pick up a 4th if he can. DR in the meanwhile, though, going to be going for the peak. And Spinks does secure his 4K. Beautiful round from him. And ENCE pick up another on the board. Their first in 3.
Xantares is just so good with his aim. Like, you saw the shots he was hitting there, Vince, but he needed more from his teammates. The rest of his teammates, they just fell without getting anything done. He found 2, while everyone else fell all around him, leading down to just the final member left standing. There's nothing they could do here. The Spinks getting hounded here. He knows there's another one nearby. That flash wasn't a lot by Emor. Woxic looking to still hold the line though, but this one should be an easy cleanup. And I said Vince, 9-6 scoreline could go either way. And ENCE, they're looking to get a guaranteed number 8 here. So they're pretty much guaranteed to get to take the lead heading into the second half. Considering it's on a T side here of Vertigo, ENCE should be pretty happy. And you gotta go back to the first 2 maps, right? We spoke about this. It was Eternal Fire having humongous leads in the first half, 10-3 and 10-2 respectively on Dust 2 and Nuke. But this time around, it looks like ENCE, they've kind of woken up a little bit more earlier. And more importantly, individually speaking, Diha has woken up as well. 13 and 8, he has been very, very impactful.
Yeah, and this really harkens back to why we kind of singled him out multiple times on that Nuke performance, because it was so uncharacteristic. Like, this is a guy who's typically up there as one of their heavy hitters. He's up there with the likes of Spinks, for example. And so him being absent on Nuke was certainly felt. Speak of the man, though, he has just been P250 down, but Hades makes sure that he avenges his fallen teammate, as ENCE will indeed get the guaranteed lead going into the second half. Whether they can extend that lead to 3, though, is yet to be seen. The money situation isn't ideal on Eternal Fire. I don't think they can afford an AWP unless xFloud picks one up, but that would leave him with no Kevlar and no grenades. So, Woxic's not going to have his hands on the AWP, but they do have enough rifles to play with. And we have already seen, Blair, that put rifles in these guys' hands, anything is possible.
Let's find out now. No AWP this time around for Woxic, though. Just the M4s. There's Calyx. Okay, just lines it up to perfection. Finding Madden, who has been a bit of a demon in his ramp position. And they know where Xantares likes to play. They know exactly where he likes to play. And Hades with a pre-fire, able to find him with no vision as Calyx gets his 2nd kill through the smoke. So maintaining the man advantage for his side.
Xantares has gone down, though. He's been typically a huge bastion of hope. Emor in the meanwhile, though, making short work of Dihar on the approach. And although flashes do come in, he's able to relocate up close. The smokes give him the luxury of he had to fall back as well into his teammates' arms, but it's Snappy that rips him apart. Minute left on the clock, 2-on-3. Molly down into the side, gonna try and stall this a bit longer. But there are counteractive mollies also tossed into the generators. Stops xFlower from peeking the left-hand angle. So Spinks can feel comfortable going for this full-on plant. And Snappy has his back covered. In terms of the utility, there's only a smoke between the 4 players here, but Woxic has alleviated the pressure. The spray nearly puts off 2. But it doesn't matter because Eternal Fire are going to have us neck and neck at the second half. Yes, ENCE have a lead, but it's the narrowest of margins to 8-7.
Snappy really needed to get that kill onto Woxic, right? But very, very quick reaction from the sniper of Eternal Fire, able to quickly take care of him. So it was gonna, like you said, it was gonna have to come down to a 2K spray down. It was not to be. So the 9-6 scoreline will not transpire, Vince. I was wrong, but ENCE will still take the lead going into the CT side here on the final decider. And I'm actually glad it's this close, right? You go back to Dust 2, it was Eternal Fire running away with it, and then we had and just bring it back into OT and closing it out. Nuke was a complete stomp. Eternal Fire just completely demolishing ENCE. And when we have the final map, Vertigo, you want to see a close affair. You want to see a close game. And that is exactly what these two teams are giving. Although, that being said, I do want to see what Eternal Fire have in store for us here on the T side.
Yeah, that's fair. A lot of their success was off the back of Xantaras just having this pristine control over ramp, going for these perfect timings on the peaks, being backed up from the likes of Calyx, Woxic having his way. On the T side, they're probably not going to get that much freedom. And so that's maybe where ENCE start to extend their lead and really apply all the pressure that could be required and win this one out. Hades, that flick is delicious. And Emo is going to lose his life on ramp. Still 4 players here, though, to push in abruptly if the call comes out. But there is a flashbang, which is going to be peeked into. And that's Hades, who goes in for more, but he whiffs his spray this time. And Xantaras, even though he's fully flashed for a couple of seconds, will somehow survive.
I'm a little surprised Hades really went for the deal, considering how low he was. But still, 4v4 now as Eternal Fire. They're making the intentions very clear.
Well, there's no second guessing this, is there? They have the cross from Snappy, but he's all alone. He is isolated from the wall of smokes. As Xantaras takes out the sledgehammer and applies it directly to the forehead. Post-plant comes in as well. CT stuck behind the side, but Madden's giving them a lifeline. Madden springs in for another one. And seeing an extra play on the sandbags, they know where the 2 remaining Ts are. And now that those positions have been compromised, it's all down to Xantaras to have impact. And although he does get 1, Madden is there to trade again. Already with 3 kills in this round and make it 4. Beautiful round from Madden. And ENCE will have enough time for the defuse.
If Xantaras can do it, so can Madden. Those were some incredible shots being hit by Madden in the retake. It looked like the round was done, Vince. I didn't see a kit anywhere around. No smoke. They had to take those duels. And Eternal Fire just getting absolutely destroyed by Madden and his USPs. He's been so huge in these pistol rounds, has Madden, especially on the CT side. And this is after Xantaras pulled off some magnificent shots of his own with the Glock. The second shot especially, clearing the corner towards the bomb site. That was a classic Xantaras peak right there. Speaking of the man, is 20 and 12, mind you, Vince. He's putting up a show here in this entire series, but still, ENCE, they have the lead.
They do, but they're going to have to withstand this force spike, this full investment from Eternal Fire. The tests are not over just yet. They will have a reprieve after this round, assuming that they get it done convincingly. But this round is certainly going to be a difficult one. And Emo lines them up. The timing, it looked like they wanted to try and go for a flash, and he gets a 3rd as well. He's just off to the races, taking heads left and right. And we were talking almost like ENCE were the firm favorites to take this round, where they've been obliterated.
Oh, get wrecked. What was that from Emor? Okay, he had really quieted down, Vince, after the Dust 2 performance when he had 39 kills, but him waking up, suddenly things look tantalizing indeed. What a massive 3K. And just getting their world shook there. That was a forced buy, mind you, for Eternal Fire. They had 2 AKs and a Galil. And now they have 2 more A1s to their name. It will be the force coming in for ENCE nonetheless. Deagles for each and every one of the members. And, well, virtually, not just virtually, no utility at all to work with. They've used up whatever early nades and smokes they had. So going to have to rely on his Deegs finding their mark. D-Hut tucked in pretty aggressively here. towards B stairs.
Oh. Spinks takes a stray bullet. Down at 45, he falls. I don't think Diha is going to get checked from the first player in, but he can't make the most of it. Xfloud survives on 8. And with that, the B site will crumble. Considering this is a force buy from ENCE, it looks like they will try and hold on to some of these guns. Yes, it's just Eagles, but it's also Kevlar alongside it and does give them a window to maybe try and exploit. Madden takes down the kill, and that's an AK-47. They definitely want to hold on to that. So although Eternal Fire will get a 9th, yeah, they're going to save this and they're going to try and come back strong in the next round.
Absolutely going to be the full save here, but he's feeling adventurous. Hold on to the AK. You can drop your Deagle to maybe Diha or Spinks, perhaps. That's a bit of a bait play here, Vince. They're grouping up together. Surely he checks. Surely he checks. But Snappy's good for 1. But Calyx ensuring that no more rifles will be lost. So for ENCE, it's going to be a full eco coming out come the next round. But they still have this AK to work with in the hands of Madden. And he can actually drop the Deagle to one of his teammates as well. So still the threat. We've seen the damage that just one solitary rifle can do on the CT side here in Vertigo. We saw Xantares pull off some miraculous things in the first half, so we'll be looking to see if Madden can do the same. Oh, what an opener. Sheesh.
That's a disgusting shot, isn't it? Kill that ENCE secured the AK with, and indeed that Deagle has been dropped into the very capable hands of Spinks. Madden, meanwhile, taking the AK down onto the ramp side. Eternal Fire continuing to apply the pressure over on B. Spinks does have the narrow angle covered on middle, but he is against Xantares. And so I don't necessarily fancy his chances. If he's going to get this off, it has to be the first shot connecting to the dome, and it's going to have to be rapid. Although he may not be afforded that opportunity, though, Blair, because Xantares, to be fair to him, has been very aggressive in this series. He's biding his time, playing a little bit more patiently. Madden, in the meanwhile, though, takes down Woxit.
And this should be the call for them to just go for the B play right now.
Will be the call, but there's multiple USPs here. There's 4 players here. There's a stack. They're walking into the trap, but that's a big kill. Molly may not extend. That could make a huge amount of difference, but it's just the USP. The USP is going to connect with 1, and that's where it will fall short. Spinks solo with 2 Deagles. It's going to give them a chance, but it's ripped away from Xfloud. Only 1 player surviving, though, for the T's.
Holy hell, what was that from Spinks? I'd almost forgotten there was a Deagle in play there, Vince. They even took care of Madden, right? They took down the AK-47, and Spinks just almost brings it back. But Xfloud with a 1v2 clutch, ensuring things don't spiral out of control, but that almost spiraled out of control. I really hope we get to see the replay here from Spinks' POV, because... oh, the second one. That was filth on the Calyx. But Eternal Fire, they will wrest the lead back. The buy now coming in for the side of ENCE. No AWP yet in play, though, for Hades.
Yeah, that's a good point. I feel like that is going to be a hamstringing impact. Big effect onto him. Although, to be fair, I don't remember him using the AWP very much on Nuke, and he still had a good performance there. He's using the AUGs, the SGs. Spinks has been forced out of position. Molotov down on the window. And the T's try to vacate the premises, but D catches them on the cross. He won't lose his life, though, as a result. 1-4 trade may not bode very well for ENCE, but another perfectly timed flashbang as Spinks runs out of ammunition, but Madden's there to back him up. Emo gets aggressive, but Snappy will be dealing the fatal damage. And now Calyx stuck on the site, goes in for 1. If they peek him 1 by 1, he could very well clutch this one down. They nearly lined up. 36 HP for Hades remaining. There was a way forward for Calyx, unfortunate not to clutch it.
And then they'll tie it back up. Still, though, Vince, money's still not going to be a problem for the side of Eternal Fire, right? They have oodles of cash on the majority of the players, so the buy won't be an issue. But an AWP has been retrieved now. Remember the previous round? They didn't have enough cash to go for the AWP for Hades, so an AWP getting retrieved means Hades could be a little bit more impactful with his weapon of choice. Still got hectic, though. Calyx in a 1v3. There was a world, as I said, Vince, that 2 players lining on up. So full buy coming in for both sides once more. For ENCE, Spinks looking to... This is something we've seen in the past. We've seen Spinks be the CT side opper for ENCE, especially particularly on this map, which the first time I saw it did catch me off guard, but this is something which they have opted to do, which is worked out for them as well. We know how good he can be. In the meantime, Emor won't find much success. Snappy will take him down. IGL versus IGL action. The Dane coming out on top.
A flash is good though, and Spinks panics, takes the shot, gives his position away, still alive, has backup from Spinks alongside D-Hat. And with a smoke down on the boxes, now he can reposition D-Hat up on the boxes. Meanwhile, Madden has put down a frag. Nice little comeback though from Eternal Fire. They're not completely out of this round just yet. Woxic on 17 kills, already with 2 in this round. 50 seconds left, and he's rotating up the ramp and has his eyes trained on A site. The position here though for Snappy is massive on the approach. Does he really realistically expect Snappy to be in this spot? He gets drawn away from the position as the AWP shot comes out from Spinks, trying to bait him, lull him into a false sense of security. He had the right idea, but Snappy was too quick.
Yeah, good awareness from Woxic there. And if that shot hadn't rang out from the CTs, from Hades, there was a world that maybe he could have cleared the angle, but he was being distracted, wary of the ops position. Sphinx with the op, something you don't usually expect to see, right? I mean, you can expect to see when it's a double op setup, like on a map like, let's say, CD side of Dust 2, but him being the primary operator on this map is it was a bit of a surprise when I heard about it, but there's something which just worked out for them, so might as well. Woxic, ooh, so lucky is Snappy there. So very fortunate that Hades is there to be his bodyguard, and Hades is in a rough spot. If he gets taken down, his teammate's nowhere nearby, but here we go. Backup has arrived, and Hades going for the ace, and he's gonna find it.
Ah, he's lucky to get away with that. 22 HP, and there's so many moments where you thought that Eternal Fire would have swarm him, but managed to survive. 2-round advantage comes up, but Eternal Fire will have a buy coming up to the plate. And yeah, as you mentioned before, with Spinks being that kind of CT-sided AWPer, and you did highlight Dust 2, it's really in Dust 2 where he came alive when he had that AWP in the last 5 or 6 rounds. He took it in OT, and he basically took over the map for a few moments. So he's a very, very capable player with the weapon. Exquisite hold from Hades, but of course you have to put the caveat in. Effectively was against an eco. And now it's the true test. Second tactical timeout called on Eternal Fire. They understand the importance of this position in the game. Should highlight as well that we do have our second game from Group C coming up after this, which will be Imperial up against Mouse. So the winner of this will face the winner of that, of course, and the loser will be up against the loser of that game. I feel like, considering how well Eternal Fire have played, though, regardless of who they play against, if they were to lose this, for example, I think they've got a pretty solid chance against Mouse, or indeed their opponents, to be honest, Blair. They've been very impressive today.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Even if they wind up losing this game, and still, look, it's not done yet. They can still get the win over here. They've really impressed me. That win on Nuke was a statement. And sure, there's a caveat. Dia had a quiet game and whatnot, but those are just excuses. They got completely dominated. Speaking of dominated, Emor not really finding much here, and Hades, dangerous game, but he will manage to find himself some safety. He's going for a little bit of a jump peek there on the sandbags, and that is something that Woxic could catch if he goes for it again. Hades, you better not. You better not. And Woxic, if he just held the angle, if you watch someone like Zaiwu hold an angle, Vince, you just hold onto the spot where he is going for the jump, but hold on, what is that? Hades and Snappy just taking the fight and just absolutely mowing down Eternal Fire. That was a shooting gallery for ENCE.
Yeah, and that was really facilitated off those jump peaks because it was drawing away so much fire that the second player peeking up from the scaffolding just had full reign to spray down. Hades was being such a pain in the ass, and as you said, Snappy alongside him. It was really well played in the end. Eternal Fire calling their third tactical timeout now, but they have very little money to back into this round with. So it feels like maybe this map is slipping away from them. Meanwhile, however, over on the B stream, by the way, many of us thought that Outsiders, even though they have gone through some trials and tribulations as of late, obviously with the whole Yakindar situation, most of us thought Outsiders would win that game. It's 14-12 right now to FaZe in the final map.
Well, when you go up against the CIS Giga Brain Chad that is Jerry, Are you too surprised? FaZe have really impressed me. Sure, they didn't have the deep run that Spirit did in the major, but again, there's something about FaZe and Jerry finding this unknown talent in the region and bringing them up. They always seem to deliver. So I personally am not too surprised, considering Outsiders also have 2 new players coming in. But here we go. 13-10 the scoreline. It is a half buy coming in here from Eternal Fire. Just the pistols out. Tech 9's abound for all 5 members. And just the 1 smoke, no flashbangs here remaining for them. Emo, the sole member towards the ramp position, looking to be a bit of a distraction. But it's all a ruse, Vince, because 3 members are going to come creeping on out towards mid. And it's going to come down to Diha. The nade, oh, the timing on that.
That's a juicy nade, but it is unconfirmed damage. So although we have the benefit of seeing it, Zentara took the brunt of that alongside Emo, who's now been picked off in scaffolding. ENCE don't know this, but they do have a perfect setup. Diha, shoulder peeking, can throw the incendiary. If they push past it, that's going to be into the arms of the player behind sandbags, which is Madden. This should be an absolute slaughter. But T's are holding their position for the time being. Spink's picking off the straggler of Calyx, and now they're moving in. This is where Madden's position is going to activate. This is where the round comes to an abrupt end. Zentaris makes sure it's not a clean sweep, but ENCE back on fire, and they have 4-round lead. Eternal Fire. This may be their last hope, Blair. This may be their last roll of the dice.
Oh, indeed. That previous round would have been, anyways, very hard for them to convert. Okay. All right, Snappy. Could have been information from his teammate there, but still just a ridiculous wallbang. We've seen so many wallbangs and smoke kills this entire game. It's just been ridiculous. So much of individual skill on display, but round number 25, Vince, you said it best. This could be the round. Madden, though, the aggression, catching Xflood from the ladder position and walks with the op. He needs to find impact now.
Speaking of shot through smoke and wall bangs, he's going to have to go pick up another one, but the smoke clears, it fades, as Snappy is putting down players left and right. And although he will fall on his sword, he can do so with a smile on his face, because he knows he's given his team a great opportunity to secure 5 match points. Calyx still alive as he snakes his way onto the B site, but he is miles off the bomb, which is dropped down on the A side of the map. And Dihaz playing with his food, smoke down onto the window. They have a rotational play in effect as well, which is about to come round and tighten that noose in the form of Madden. Gets caught though, spray is good, Calyx still alive, 12 HP to his name. He has 2 more players to find and frag, and he has a bit of time to do it, but surely this round will not go the way of Eternal Fire.
It really shouldn't. First, he's got to retrieve the bomb, and even though you said he's got time to work with, there's so much of real estate which is not in his control. He's got to retrieve the C4 first. He has no idea there could be CD waiting around the corner. And with 25 seconds, he's got to make up his mind. Go for the save, or just run it, leg it. He has to run, but yeah, looking at the clock, he's just gonna... Oh, he's gonna go for it, Vince. He's gonna go for it, and timing... I think the B play just went away from his position. Okay, there we go. The Molotov's the dead giveaway, and Calyx should be dead in 3, 2, 1, and gonna be Sphinx with the Tech 9 as well. Not even bothering with the AWP, knowing how much damage has been dealt. Getting ENCE to map and match point. Eternal Fire, max loss bonus has kicked in a while ago, so they will still have the buy, Vince, but they are not finding the rounds. And Snappy's just kind of coming to his own here, right? On this ramp position, he's been looking like a star in his own rights.
Yeah, he took inspiration from that emo performance on Dust 2. He's like, listen, I can do that too. We've seen a couple of massive performances from Snappy. We saw a couple actually in the major. The challenges in the legend stage. Meanwhile, though, that is 5 match points. Meanwhile, by the way, FaZe did win the game against Outsiders. As Antares, though, puts down the first frag in this match and a second as well. Gonna try and hold on to this game, make sure it doesn't slip away just yet. Spray transfer slightly awry, nice effort from Madden, but Sphinx has now spilled the bomb down. ENCE have a chance.
Let's have a chance. Backup has arrived as well. Good flashes and utility getting deployed. Sphinx at the crosser a little bit too high, trying to go for the wallbang, but then the double nades though, and it could actually do a lot of damage, but won't confirm the kill.
Oh, Xcloud 20, Emo 36. They don't know this though. Must have a good idea though. Grenades on the site though did rip through the health bars of at least one player. do have a smoke. They do have a kit. They also have a flashbang. Where do they position this, though? Spinks is still stuck on the back boxes. Flashbang through. Frag not forthcoming. And yet, this is where Spinks can toss the smoke in and back away. Keep that AWP alive. They have tons of cash alongside it, but they want to play for the bigger picture, the longer haul if they need it. Oh, the timing is so brutal, though. And Emo will be able to pick up the AWP. So Eternal Fire save 1 match point, get an AWP, keep themselves alive in this game.
But it's not the AWP in the hands of Hades, sorry, in the hands of Woxic that's been finding them these openings. It's been Xantares again, 26 and 21. That round was all on Xantares. Gets the first 2 opening picks, and despite getting traded by Madden, they were able to just swarm the bomb site. So, 1 found, 4 more to go. It's not going to be easy, Vince, but seeing stranger things transpire here. Xantares tucked on in, avoiding the spam from Snappy. Very smartly done by Xantares, and getting early control of the scaffolding position, but there is a player lying in wait nearby. Flash is not good, though. Hades tucked on in. Spinks is to find a second kill as well, and only 3 remain for ENCE. Make that 2.
Oh, they're dropping like flies right now, although there's a bit of a resurgence.